Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 8th episode, I believe, of the illustrious Overwatch podcast. That is, of course, OverChat. I forgot the name. It's like that. It is OverChat. Over, yes, highly overrated in every conceivable way.
Over Sombra, Lenny face. Nah.
So, I guess we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're just going to go straight into this. We're going to go into Gamescom because I was lucky enough to get invited there by Blizzard. So I got to see like loads of behind the scenes stuff, which I guess you guys probably want to hear about. It's so cool. Like it's so cool. I mean, we all know Blizzard's a big company, right? We know they can do things.
They're large.
Yes, they're considerable in girth. I don't know where this is going, but it was very, very interesting to see all of that from behind the scenes. Just like seeing the sheer size of that operation. I mean, Gamescom as a whole. I mean, I know I'm pointing up, but those guys are not actually up from what you guys can see. They are in my Skype conversation. Miska and Ryan, they were at Gamescom as well. Now, have you been to Gamescom before, you guys?
No.
Well, so it was all first time for us.
Up until then, I hadn't flown.
Oh my
like 10
god!
Years.
Oh,
so it was like,
yeah.
I love plane journeys now, but I was just sat there like.
I'm loving this.
Falling asleep next to me, and there's people ordering teas as like the plane's going like and it's just like, what is wrong with you people? We're in like a metal box in the sky, and it's like I'll have a tea, and it's just like shaking everywhere. It's just
what else can you do though?
It's just,
hey, did you
calm and drink tea?
Exactly. Did you have actual jet engines attached to your plane? Or did you have
propellers?
Propellers. Yeah, I had propellers.
God.
I think they're called turboprop planes or something like that. Actually, it was a really smooth ride. It wasn't that. It was really nice.
Well, it is a jet engine. It just has
it's got propellers as well. Yeah, it's like kind of like a helicopter thing. But anyway, yeah. So Gamescom, massive. Oh my god. When we came past on the Blizzard buses, there was like, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them or something. It was crazy. We're sitting on the bus with like all of the, and in fact, this was like, I get on the bus and there's Grubby and there's like Rotterdam on the bus, and I'm like, just keep cool stuff. I'm like,
yeah, there's like I had that do it Blizzard as well. You see people, and it's just like, that's Dyrus, that's Jesse Cox, that's Prendel, it's holy shit. Just be cool, be cool.
Just sit down. Just sit down. Right, guys, how's it going? Anyway, the first day when it opened to the public, holy shit. Well, it was media day was the first day, I guess, but the first public day was just crazy. Like they were saying this around about 85,000 people were queuing to get into this place, like at the multiple entrances, and I was just like, the traffic was insane. It should have been a 12-mile drive from the hotel, a 12-minute drive from the hotel. I mean, it took like about 50 minutes or something ridiculous to get in there. It was insane. And then
we were lucky.
It was
came off like, the motorway and straight onto like the Mesa.
Yeah, because the motorway entrance goes into like the VIP bit at the back, doesn't it? Where you go for the security gate. Is that where you guys went in? Yeah. The first day, the guy took us like to that entrance, but like through Cologne, not over like the autobahn. It was like the worst decision ever. I was like, what is this? Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. But the scale of it. I mean, I've been to like a lot of football games in my time, and when you see football stadiums emptying, there's a ton of people. But it was just like that all the time, and it was just like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah,
it was.
I mean,
mad.
Gamescom is something ridiculous, like 350,000 people a total, like of staff that come and go, visitors that come and go. Yeah, it was pretty large in scale. But yeah, it was good fun. I don't think like we were ever like sort of overwhelmed or whatever. Like we always had some stuff to do or someone to meet or someone to shake hands with. It was good overall. I enjoyed it definitely.
Well, we had like go on, Ryan.
I was just going to say it was an interesting experience all around. It was fun. I enjoyed it. We was getting used to all of the walking, and now I can't like stop walking. I take the top of two walks a day now because it's like I can't sit still.
You see this thing on my wrist? It went off on the first day, and it was like, "Congratulations, you've done 20,000 steps." I was like, "I ain't doing that again." Fucking hell, I was destroyed. Holy hell, where was I going? And then I made the decision on one day to just go and walk around the whole place, which is a terribly bad decision. But I'm like, look, I want to see it all, so I'm walking around and see it all. I did. And then I almost died. But anyway, let me tell you about the Blizzard thing, because like obviously this is unique to me. So it was very surreal. Like now I'm missing having all of this support. Like I had an audio engineer, just an audio engineer, right? I had like 2 tech people who would just fix everything. I had 2 security guards who would stop people getting to you. And they would stop people getting to you. And they'd throw people out. It was crazy. Then you had like people who would translate German for you, and then you had like a minder. It was just crazy. It's like
a minder. You had a babysitter.
it was like, imagine like it's what it must be for like you know, a real celebrity, I suppose, every day. But the good thing about like all the gaming stuff is you're only really going to get that at conventions. When you leave, it's fine. You can go to the co-op and nobody's going to notice you. You're walking through Asda and it's not going to be like, oh yeah. But it was very surreal to me though, because I've never experienced that before. And like having that quantity of people who know who you are constantly coming up to you, and like some people are really nervous as well, and I'm like, hey, it's nice to meet you. Selfies, which I've now taken, I don't even know how many selfies, which is like, I never even used to like selfies before, but now like,
yeah, it's like the walking, you just have to do it every day now.
Yeah, it's so surreal.
There was a really funny experience where a guy recognized me from my voice, and at the time I was complaining because it was when The Last Bastion was on. There was this really tall guy stood in front of me that wouldn't fucking stay still. Yeah. So I was just like, look, fucking guy. It's like, are you running from Overwatch? So I was like, yeah, one sec. It was just like, it's just sat there like with we went with like a couple of our mods and friends and stuff, and I was just like looking at it. It's just like, this guy, can you believe him? It's like, oh hey. It was just
to be fair, like when I met Stye for the first time, that was at the Blizzard thing in Versailles. Like I recognized him because of his voice. Like I had no idea
most
what the
people
guy
do.
like.
Yeah,
and it's just like, wait, is that the guy from Unit Lost? Yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah, it's weird.
That weird pizza with fucking apple and
oh
potato.
shit, what was that about? France?
That
Wait,
still
what?
boggles the mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was the weirdest part of the trip, and I'll never forget it. And it wasn't good pizza, trust me.
No, it was bad.
Anyway,
pizza.
Gamescom.
It was bad pizza. Yeah,
it was really bad pizza.
Yeah. Like just seeing that like entire Blizzard operation, like you cannot. There was a picture I put on Twitter with the whole Blizzard staff, or most of them. Actually, not all of them are involved on that. My super mods, if you're watching the stream live, can probably link that into the chat if they find it on my media tab on Twitter. But I'll probably link to it below on the VOD on YouTube as well if you guys are watching it there. But there's a picture of the stage, and it kind of it sort of annoyed me because I'm sitting there in the SL Arena watching the final of the bloody Atlantic Showdown. I get an email off Blizzard. It's like, hey, we're taking a team photo. Would you come back over to Hall 7? And I'm like, sure. Oh, I'm like, I got a phone out and I'm like, okay. I managed to get back there in time anyway. We did this big like photograph. The number of people there, it was just, it's insane. And you know what the coolest part was? When Blizzard people come up to you and ask you for your autograph, it's like, shit. They come up to you like, because I was used to talking to people with like Blizzard lanyards on. And they'd walk up to me and I'd go, all right, mate, what's up? And they'd go, I'm like, what? And they're like, can I have your autograph? And I'm like, okay. It was all very surreal to me, but that was really cool when they did that. But yeah, it's such like a massive operation. I had access to, this really gutted me. I had access to everywhere, and the cosplayers get dressed in a certain area behind the stage, which I may have had access to. And I wanted to go in there after they were dressed. Obviously, you know, I'm a gentleman, right?
That's just...
I wanted Zarya. I wanted her. Like, I needed her. Needed to find her, but I couldn't find her. And it gutted me. And then when she was found, she'd taken it all off and actually had normal clothes on. But she'd taken all of her stuff up. And I'm like,
just walk in.
No! It was so gutting. Although I
the
think...
Zarya one was really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Very
that
impressive.
The Junkrat one blew my mind, but he works for
the
Blizzard.
Guy,
yeah.
You see the gender bent one too. There was a gender bent one as well. It was kind of the same type of.
Oh yeah,
like,
his wife.
well, like,
yeah.
same level.
yeah.
It was really good.
She had exactly the same hair. They must have worked together. They've got to have done because the hair was exactly the same. Because I'm sitting there in the streaming area. I just finished my stream actually, and I'm standing at the front of the Overwatch booth, and I see Junkrat walk by. You can imagine how surreal this is. I'm like, there's Junkrat. Yeah. So I'm like, Junkrat, and I'm shouting him, and the security let him come through into the front, and I'm like, the first thing he said to him is, "Can I touch your hair?" And he's like, "Yeah, touch my hair." And I'm like, going like this to his hair. It's like what? Just Gamescom. It was so surreal.
Weird interactions like all over the place. Yeah, we had them too, and it was interesting. I mean, especially with like recognizing people as all that stuff too. Like not even just like other content creators, but like, you know, like Ben, like Fish Sticks, who worked a bunch with, I talked a bunch with before. He was there. Just like seeing his face, like not on a Skype profile picture, is like a bit weird. Like all that stuff was just like a bit surreal. Because I've been to quite a few conventions before as like writing small articles for like websites or whatever, like as press, but not like knowing a lot of people there. So this was very interesting to me, and I can notice that you had the same sort of feeling and interactions, and like, fuck, like what's going on? It's like the game and everything, but it's here, you know.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, there was a couple of Farahs around, but the one with the actual like mechanical wings and everything opened up, like an Ultimate opened up as well, like to fire the mini rockets out. It was so cool, and it was all controlled with the rocket launcher. When I seen her, I was like, come to me. And she's like, she's coming over, and I'm taking selfies with her. And she looked really, really good. I actually, when I got my transfer back to the airport as well, I was with a French cosplay lady, and she said she knows her, and she said she was a bit disappointed that she didn't get into the top 3. And I said, well, to be honest, I was disappointed. Like, she should have been, like, Zarya should have won that cosplay competition because she looked like Zarya, and that's what they were marking it on, like how accurate they were to the game's characters. Like, and I think Aaron was one of the judges as well from the Overwatch development team. But yeah, she should have won. That was fine. But Farah should have got second, and she wasn't even in the top 3. And I was a bit like, oh no, that's really gutting because
Farah came out.
So good.
We were like, oh shit, that must be like a winner almost.
Yeah. It was so good.
Nothing. Weird.
And because it's Germany, and Germany's got crazy rules with weapons and things like that, you're not allowed. They weren't allowed to take the weapons onto stage. So the cosplayers go onto the stage, and Farah doesn't have a rocket launcher, so she's standing there without a rocket launcher. It's like, I'm like, where's the rocket launcher? And then they're like, oh yeah, it's the German law. You can't have weapons. You can't show weapons or show the act of firing at somebody to people under the age of 16. That's why the Overwatch booth was like enclosed, like it had walls around it, so the kids could still come into the area, like, which is totally crazy, like, because obviously it's not gore, it's not violence, but it's German law, so they've got to respect that. It's also why they don't show any Overwatch on the main stage, and they were having like Heroes of the Storm brawls and stuff like that. Because they would have loved to have Overwatch-related stuff, but you can't because
there was a lot of things as well to do with like the German army being there as well. There's a lot of
that's the terror threat stuff.
Yeah. No, but I mean like recruiting.
Like recruiting.
There was a lot of
people yeah.
There's a lot of like protests, and there was sort of like T-shirts and shit like that. It wasn't major, but like just like having graphic horror games, sort of games like that. There isn't the worst of our problems if we got like the army recruiting and shit like that. It was pretty crazy. But there was a guy that was cosplaying that had like a sign that was like, "This would have been my gun." Yeah,
I was gonna say it was really good. They were just walking around in like full gear. They looked really geared out. They had like the fake well, they obviously they couldn't even handle like the ammo and all that shit, but they had like full gear and everything. They just had this like carton bit, like, this was my gun. And just walked around and waved that. And lots of people took selfies with them. It was pretty good. Like, it made it a kind of like a fun thing anyway, but it's also kind of shit. You know, you come to like a cosplay thing and everybody's just there without their weapons. It's a bit like,
I mean, these guys must have spent hours making these things as well. So it must have been heartbreaking when they heard the announcement that you couldn't bring some of that stuff.
Yeah, and it was only like 3 weeks before or something like that where they actually said,
they take months to build these.
Yeah, well, I was talking to them. I says, how long does it take, like in general? Farah said it took around about 6 months. Junkrat was the same, 6 to 7 months, he said. Junkrat's attention to detail was ridiculous, though, but because he's a Blizzard employee, he didn't go into the competition. Because he probably would have easily won it because he is frigging Junkrat. It's like, what?
I mean, his Zenyatta was insane.
Yeah. This is better than the Zenyatta, though, but it's still... I know what you're saying. It is.
The Junkrat
like, his hair lights up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it glows like it's on fire.
Like it's on fire.
It like pulses a little bit as well. I saw them.
Did you see the lady Junkrat, Miska? With hers goes multicolours. It would go with rainbow colours.
She was like fiddling with the switch in the back, and it just started like doing all sorts of crazy colours. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Yeah, at the Legion Cafe, it was actually it was a bit darker there, so the hair looked really good there because it was like properly glowing and like lighting stuff up almost. And yeah, that was really cool. There was so much cool cosplay at the Legion Cafe actually. Jessica Negro was there with like the proper like Demon Hunter cosplay. I'm sure Blizzard like sponsored that.
Yeah,
like,
she was
quite heavily.
Why people were quite pissed that she win the contest?
No,
I don't think so. No,
I heard that she won a contest somewhere. And people were pissed because
she might have won the contest because there was another cosplay contest at the Legion Cafe, I think. So she might have won that one. But that was like
people were upset about that.
I think that was on the invite only day, so there weren't really like any. There weren't really many cosplayers there. So, who knows? Either way, like it was really cool overall. Like the cosplay at the Legion Cafe as well, because there were so many Demon Hunters and they all looked amazing due to like Blizzard obviously like helping them out a bit and so on. And they just walked around there with like glow in the dark paint and shit with their like symbols, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So I enjoyed the Legion Cafe too quite a lot. I don't know if you ever had a chance to go.
No, I had the
said
access
early
to the
morning.
VIP day thing. Yeah, but I was like, I best not go. But then that just went out the window anyway in later days, whatever. Because you would think at these places that you would get to bed early, wouldn't you? Because, you know, you need to be getting early shuttles in for like 12-hour days. But no, apparently you go to bed at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning because you've been somewhere. I want to say you shouldn't have been, but actually, yeah, you should have been. And then maybe you ate a shitload of Wiener Schnitzel and it went bad. Oh, like, then you were eating currywurst. And it was just like, what is this? Oh, God. And sauerkraut. My God, I've become addicted to that. So nice. That. But they put like pepperoni in it or something. It was fucking amazing. What is he doing? What is he doing? I'm like, oh no. It was so nice. Anyway,
I like the sauerkraut too.
Yeah, I like sauerkraut. It's well nice. So yeah, like all the behind the scenes stuff. The scale of that operation is crazy. Like in behind the stage, like to the side of the. Let me just rein this back a bit. So the Overwatch section was special because it's Overwatch and we're special. We had our own streaming area in like
we're
the booth.
Special.
We're special. We are. I forgot about our own little special area. I'm spitting all over my microphone, and it was very good. Anyway, all the other streamers were rammed together next to the stage, above the VIP area. Now, this meant that you couldn't get to them, which I guess might have been okay for some, but it meant they were all rammed together in this little area. Now, what was really cool for the people playing Overwatch is they walk past and they go, there's Sty, or like, oh, I've just played you. And it was like great. And they said the feedback they were getting off that was awesome because it's almost like, I don't know, having some like, I don't know, playing football with some footballer or something and go, oh, he's over there sort of thing. So it made the booth feel a bit more alive. And obviously not just with me, like with Anne and with Musalk as well, like they, you know, when they're on, you see the same thing happening, and it's like it was really cool design. And the other games kind of got, you know, shafted a little bit, so it was interesting. Anyway, in the VIP area, there's just like everything, like any drink you want, basically. Like I drank so much Red Bull, I'm surprised my heart didn't stop.
Yeah,
it's just like, my God, it's like it's on tap.
We were at the Twitch VIP party, and I just basically had vodka Red Bulls all night, and it wasn't the vodka.
Oh,
Jesus.
Jesus.
It was a Red Bull. Because at the end, I was just like,
No, like I had Red Bulls like all of the first day, like from the Wednesday all the way up to the Twitch party, which was on the Saturday, I think, right? And then on the Saturday, like I've had Red Bulls all day. I go there, I have Red Bull vodkas for like the whole night. We come down the next day, I'm super tired. I have more Red Bulls. And like on the plane back, I just came down from this 5-day Red Bull high, and I just crashed. I was like, oh my God, I can't walk. I can barely get out of my seat. I need to go to the toilet. Yeah, it was horrible, but at least it kept me going during the actual.
Yeah. You know it's gonna wreck you, but you just need to do it, and it's like I don't have time to get anything to eat. Red Bull, yeah, Red Bull. Anyway, so yeah, from the VIP area, you go into like the backstage area, and you would see like all of the different like teams that were set up, like their their social media teams, and there's tons of people in there like running all the Twitter accounts, doing all the stuff. They had this really cool setup with camera teams going around the floor, like full-on camera crews, and then like smaller camera crews, like people with like doing like iPhone recordings, but with all kinds of crazy attachments on the iPhones, you know, like lens attachments and everything.
It's fun of that.
And they're like filming you. They're just doing like interviews with you and all of this stuff. That's a subscriber, guys. If you're hearing that on the
damn, I just saw that 34 months in a row.
Who is that?
Okay.
Look at that guy.
Crystal. 30 months. You can have a shout out because that's like 34 months. That's a long time.
Jesus
Awesome
Christ.
resub. So yeah, what was I saying? The backstage, the
iPhone.
The camera crews, yeah. So they're just going around like interviewing like people with the Blizzard like things on and whatever, the influencers as they call you, which is a very dirty word. But then they would just upload it to the cloud. And then this media team in the backstage would like approve and disapprove what's going on and like decide if it's going to go out or maybe it's not good enough. Like I did a little interview. Obviously, it wasn't good enough for like YouTube or anything, so they just like put it out on Twitter. It's like shit, Sty interview. It was crap. You don't know what he's talking about and all this stuff. So it was really cool. But when we first got there, on the setup day, before we even got to set up the streaming equipment, which was like, I put a picture of this on Twitter. It had like the most ridiculous like 12 channel mixer and all, like it was just way over the top. It was like, oh my God, what the hell is all of this stuff? But on the first day when we got there, they were like, right, first thing we're going to do is some interviews, right? Full on camera crew. It's just like interview. Okay, let's do it. And so everybody was like, shit, interview. We didn't realize this would be the case. And I'm like, Okay, I just went and did one. Obviously, it was crap
Ask
because
me
I didn't
questions.
see it. Yeah, it was like, who are you? What's your favorite Blizzard game and all of that stuff. And I don't think actually
Play
used
some
any
video
of them.
games.
I don't play Blizzard game. I play Battleborn.
I like Battleborn.
Yeah.
I am Battleboard's biggest fan.
That was the other thing as well. They're like, you must always stream a Blizzard game, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no shit, no shit. I was thinking about playing Battlefield or something, from the Overwatch booth. Hey guys, look at this. But yeah, the operation in the back end was just like insane. Basically all the VIP area was behind the stage because it's fancy Blizzard. They had a massive stage at the end of the arena, which just to sort of finish on the whole like Blizzard setup there. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think it was the best setup of the other ones that I went to. The EA one wasn't too bad because EA kind of had the same idea.
Loud.
But it was so fucking loud.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
so
ridiculously
obnoxious.
loud. Like they had the middle booth which was the stage and was really loud, and then they had 5 booths around it that all had their own music and announcers. It was just what the fuck?
Well,
You're just caught in this.
We were queuing to
horrible
play
sound
Titanfall,
delay.
and there was this just German rapping going on, and we all got our
Yeah.
iPods out of our pockets and just
Yeah.
put our earbuds in and just sat quietly.
What's wrong with German rap music?
It wasn't that. It was just so obnoxious. It was
you
just these
couldn't-
guys that were
it was
just
just
shouting
speaking
in a
in
language.
language.
Yeah.
It just sounded so angry.
It wasn't good quality overall. No. Oh god.
Well,
Yeah, they
their
need to work on
booth,
that.
their booth was okay because of the way it was designed. Like you go in and you feel like you're inside EA, like the Blizzard one where it's got all the banners around like in a circle, and so you walk in and you're inside Blizzard's like world, and then you've got the big stage, and it felt more like open, more like welcoming. Whereas like some of the EA stuff, especially down the side of the EA booth, was just like these massive like I don't know 20-meter high friggin' like FIFA players plastered on the wall, and it felt like you were just walking down like a back alley or something. And Ubisoft's was not very good, and then all the other little ones. So it was a very nice area to be in. Like it felt, it
Very
felt
similar to
Blizzard.
Hearthstone area.
Just,
Hearthstone
yeah.
area
Yeah,
was
Hearthstone
great.
was nice. They
They
were
had
all
a nice
good.
little picket fence and everything. And
Yeah.
it looked really like Hearthstone-y, and yeah, it was pretty great. Diablo had a pretty good one too. Like
Oh.
they were pretty nicely themed, but pretty like they were still pretty slick and like not too over the top, but they were still themed properly. So yeah, I do agree. Blizzard did a really good job with the booths overall.
The Diablo one had a really nice like flame effect on the thing. It looked really nice. Diablo did.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan.
One thing I will say is
Bubble.
I wish the Blizzard shop was closer to it.
Oh
They
yeah,
had,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh,
They had like this is all the stuff you could buy, like an area around there, like behind the World of Warcraft area, and it's like at the Blizzard shop. And we had to go get
Just
it. I
like
got this
the other
hat. I got
side
the
of the
wrong one.
building.
I got this big bastard as well.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him.
Oh, I got this that I'm wearing right now.
What's that? Oh yeah, that's the really good
Yeah, I have
one. Yeah,
3
yeah.
of those
Josh has
things.
got 3 because he needs 3.
Yeah.
Rawr. Yeah, this is Primal Winston. I think he's like a Gamescom exclusive or something.
Yeah.
I just wanted the original. I think.
Convention exclusive.
He does this.
I'll try and fit in with my fucking WoW rank.
Piss off, WoW player.
Yeah.
But
It was a nightmare to get it back in my bag, though. Holy
Did you
shit!
see the Reaper?
Yeah,
my
my
God.
carry-on luggage was
Yeah, the
just
Reaper.
the
Yeah,
Winston.
I think we'll be seeing that probably.
The statues.
BlizzCon,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's coming out.
because they got the Widowmaker one, and they got the smaller Reaper
Yeah,
statues.
yeah, yeah.
the,
It's like sort
yeah.
of.
the Death
Because
Blossom
they
one.
did the test model for that not long ago. I remember seeing that a while back, and yeah, that looks really good.
And they had him on like a rotating
that
platform, so he's like
Mhm.
death flossing in the areas.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
just
pretty-
Surprising, no one I want the Widowmaker statue. When they make a Widowmaker statue, I will buy the fuck out of it. I'll buy 7.
maybe we can intercept the
Just all around
shipment
the house.
of wherever
Yeah, that
the
huge
main one's going because that is really good.
That's a really
That
good.
is
I think
really
they had that
good.
at the All Stars event.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
they
Yeah,
had
Yeah,
one
they had
like
that there.
everywhere. Seb told me, like AlphaCast told me that they almost broke the Widowmaker one at the Paris All Stars. They almost like
I
there
don't
was
even
one
want to
guy
know
who
how
was,
much
like,
those things are
transporting it.
worth. Oh god.
Yeah, he's like they were like $200,000.
Yeah,
something
they're crazy
like,
money.
Yeah, so it like almost tipped over, and there was this one guy just holding it, like please, please. And, like
Just
Told
Like,
it.
Widowmaker
Told it
statue.
the booty, just like.
No. And then he's like,
10 Blizzard
yes,
people
oh
just,
no,
like, swarming
yes.
around.
This is how I would have wanted to go.
Yeah, I'll go out as I came in.
Well. So yeah, they had the
Anyway.
statues, didn't they? They had Winston. Winston looked really good. Somebody stole Winston's glasses. Bastards.
Did they?
Yeah. Winston had no
Alright,
glasses
mate.
at the end, but they said it's okay because they were just like cheapo reading glasses because they expect them to get stolen. Well, people constantly trying to climb up there, even though there's a security barrier, they climb up and stand next to them, and the security are pulling them down. It's just like crazy.
Really? What the?
Yeah,
fuck? I didn't see any of that.
Winston's
Damn.
arm with his weapon was very fragile. So if you knock it, it's going to come off, right? 'Cause it's like really heavy towards the end, and it all lights up and all that shit. But yeah, if you knock that, it's going to break. The Reaper wasn't actually a statue. That's like a costume on a statue. That's why it looked a bit weird. Because I looked at it and I'm like, Reaper doesn't look very good. He's like standing like this. I'm like, and that's why.
Yeah.
Widowmaker looked amazing. Tracer obviously looked amazing. Some of the
Pharaoh was in like China as well, so I don't imagine it was doing that.
I was gutted they didn't bring the big models from the launch event. Yeah,
Genji and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, just to finish up on their BlizzCon area, as I said, not BlizzCon, Gamescom area, as I said about 20 minutes ago. The other statues in the other booths were quite nice. The Varian one for World of Warcraft was probably the best one there. That was really good. That was fucking really good. That was like amazing. I didn't even play WoW, but I was looking there like, oh my god, that looks
Diablo
really
thing looks good as well. But it's kind of like, why a Diablo? Yeah, what? And it's just like you can play like Diablo 1 and 2, and it's like, ooh, that's actually really good.
Yeah, we started playing Diablo 2 one morning. It's pretty good actually, but yeah, we're playing like multiplayer and stuff. Yeah. It was a bit weird though. Like all these like new expansion and Diablo is just like, oh, we got 1 and 2 and 3 here. It's like, I mean, sure.
We're here too, guys. Come along. StarCraft's just like, we don't care anymore.
StarCraft's just in the corner. It's poor.
Yeah.
Well, not poor. It's sad. It's sad. But yeah, the booths were all good. Overwatch was nice. It looked like Overwatch. The very Overwatch themed, obviously. The Heroes of the Storm one was quite nice as well. And that had like an amazing statue of what's his name? The evil Eldar guy.
Oh yeah,
Alarak, and he looked amazing.
Yeah.
He looked really, really good at the front.
There's a murky one as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Lycus's suit.
You can tell that's a really old one though. That looks really old. That does. Compared to like the quality is nowhere near as good as the other statues.
But what's good? The Zarya skin in Heroes of the Storm. There's like a Thunder God Zarya.
Yeah, they're better than the ones in Overwatch.
I mean, Tracer's one is also like fucking amazing as well. She's got like the Spectre skin. You can make that easy into like a Talon themed Tracer.
When we walked through into the doors, when they were setting everything up, because I mean it is like last minute. They literally get this finished just before the place opens. There's a massive Heroes of the Storm thing on the wall, and it's just got Zarya standing there like this, and I'm like, oh, so Zarya's going to be in the Heroes of the Storm, man. And they're like,
that happened last year with BlizzCon.
What made you think that?
Yeah. Because they had like Lucio posters around, and people like sending that and like taking pictures of it. It's like, oh, I think there's a new hero coming in Overwatch.
Yeah.
But speaking of new shit coming in Overwatch,
yeah, we'll get to that. So when I'm walking around with my camera during the setup period, like just filming stuff, security guards constantly coming over to me going, "You shouldn't be streaming. You shouldn't be filming." I'm like, flashing my tag at them. No, I can, because I could. But if under penalty of death, if I was to stick this onto Twitter, I would be destroyed. So anyway. Do you want to take us into the next topic then, Josh? Because we're running loose and free on this podcast, but I mean, we know what the major topics are for this week, so
let's talk about that new map. Like, I mean, we did
let's see what I can.
And we did like, I said like there's going to be 2 maps and a new hero. Really bold prediction. There was a map. It's a pretty good map though, and Sty played it for like 4 hours every single day, non-stop.
Hang on, and the day that you didn't see, Sty was playing it for ages as well. With other people discussing the way, because there's actually been quite a few changes to that map, especially on the second point. Some of the walls have been removed that weren't there, or that were there, and they got taken out because they were a bit too powerful, especially for people like Hanzo, who could just like fire through a little crack like this big, and it was like, yeah, that's a bit OP, so that was changed. Eichenwalde. So obviously, I knew about this, and it was funny listening to you guys go on about like. What do you expect to be put into the game? And you're like, new heroes, and I'm like, well, unless they're keeping it a secret from me. Hopefully they are, but the new map.
It's difficult to show off a new hero at Gamescom though, because you like line up and everybody's playing Sombra. So it's like 6v6 Sombra. Yeah, I still thought there'd be more than just a map, I suppose. But then again, if Sombra comes out soon, you got season 2, and then you got all of these changes as well. That's a lot of shit, but you can't really show that shit off.
You can't really show like season 2, like, oh my god, look, season 2, you can test play it here. It's just like playing Overwatch, you know. Really what it's like. You have to experience the whole thing. So yeah, I do agree. There, like the patch overall is going to be pretty big. Like there's all the balance changes, which it's a pretty damn big balance patch compared to other balance patches.
It's a huge balance.
Season 2 and Eichenwalde and potential other stuff. Like there's so much.
Well,
like,
let's just stay on Eichenwalde. So obviously everyone's got access to Eichenwalde. As Gamescom finished, it goes into the PTR. Obviously I've played a shitload of it. And in the videos that I've made, the only reservation I've got is the very first choke point, which I really don't like. And there are some flanks for this, but they are not usable.
Took out one of them. They took out one of them. So you know that, like you mentioned about 5 times in your videos, where there's like a wall that looks like the Dorado wall. They put a building there now.
Yeah.
Before you could actually send Genji over there and you could like do a dash. And I went to go and show that off in a video. I was putting a video together about Eichenwalde. It's like, yeah, I'll show this pathway. Oh wait, there's a building there now. Okay, so they took that out. And they need a flanking route for that first point. Right now it all filters to one choke point. It's really easy to hold. If one team's spinning the other, it's so hard.
There's an insane like flank which takes you around to the next point, to the gate that the payload goes through the first time. But I mean, I think Diva, Farah, Lucio can make it. It's like it's such an insane flank.
It's the one that's really far out.
It's really far. Yeah. It's crazy.
Like you think about the Volskaya one where you can go around. Like it's that times like 6 or something.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just
so
terrible.
far to go. But I guess that could work.
But it sort of surprised me when I mean, as soon as I sat down and started playing the map, straight away I was like, okay, all this area to the left of the spawn, we're talking from the attacker's perspective, is like useless. Why would you even go down there?
Yeah,
I don't know. As you come towards the first choke, there are some ways you can go to the right where you can fire through the buildings through the choke, and you've got actually quite a bit of cover. So that's pretty nice. But that choke itself is really easy to defend, and you could tell when I started playing against people at Gamescom, like people who have got minimal experience with the game would still be able to hold that. If you had a Reinhardt on your team, because you've got to remember, Gamescom team builds are pretty questionable. But if you had a Reinhardt, it was pretty much you've won on defense because they wouldn't be able to push through. Now, if you like put actual teams into there, then it's going to be very defender favored. Obviously, you can fast push through or whatever if you're attacking, but it still is a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, when we get through that choke point, that area past the small bridge, really like that area. Really like the way that's great. It's really nice.
It's like a rotational area. You got a big tower in the middle, and you're fighting all around it. There's cover all over the place. It's like great for Tracer, great for Genji because there's tons of places you can dash around to. It's good for a lot of heroes. It's really fun.
The tower itself is quite good for the defense. If you're playing Widowmaker, you can grapple onto the top of that and fire into the spawn, get a cheeky kill if you're into that kind of thing. So that's a nice little thing to do. So that area itself with the hunting lodge and all of that, I like that. I mean, pretty much I just like the whole map after that. The next area is by far my favorite part of the map. When you go through that door with the payload and you move around that area, there's so many different things you can do in that area there. To me, that just seemed really, really good.
See what with the soldier buffs now, playing Soldier 76 on that area is so nice. Like anytime you take damage, you just take a step back, heal field, you're fine. Like Soldier's always been good on high ground. There, he's absolutely insanely good. It's so powerful.
Yeah, so I love that. Like the whole sort of just before indoors bit is amazing as like any character really. Like it really is just a lot of fun because you don't feel like too locked down or like too cramped. There's still a lot of routes to take. There's a lot of verticality, and yet you don't feel like you're just being run over and over when you're on the low ground. Like because there's still some cover. There are still some way to quickly get indoors. So overall, I'm really impressed with that bit. I think some people have talked about the absolute last bit of the map, though.
We can talk about that. Yeah. So like the devs were very interested in designing a map with a shitload of verticality. It's kind of like if you look at Hollywood, you can see like the way that's been applied to this map in a sense. Like you can see it's a later map down the development pipeline. It's not an early map, apart from that first choke, which still bewilders me why that hasn't got some sort of whatever. Once you come over the bridge and you go into the castle itself, which I said, guys, if we do not smash the frigging castle door down with a payload, this will be the worst thing ever. And of course it did. Smashed it down. And I was like, yes, good, thank you. So you get into that area there, and so the very last bend towards the end of the map, that is one hell of a kill zone. And there's a very far run back from the attacking team to that area, and the defense are just pretty much instantly respawning back in that area, and it is a very nice place to hold. So while I didn't experience this at Gamescom, because obviously the team quality was just all over the place. I mean,
you were too good. You're too good.
It wasn't even that. Like some days I was just obliterated, and I'm just like on autopilot. But when you've got a Torbjorn who does this, right? So he's got his weapon, and
getting up.
I'm getting up. He cannot fire and move at the same time. So he goes,
yeah.
And you're like, oh God.
It's even better when they just move and then they stop and then they turn and then they move again.
And you see the processes in their brain of, I am in position, I shall move and aim.
Yeah.
I shall now fire.
By that time they're already dead.
So with those players, you don't get to see, other bits of the map develop. I mean, you could kind of see, like I said, with the first choke, but the very end of the map, never really got to see. However, I've been playing on the PTR because I can't get enough of Eichenwalde quite a lot, and
it just makes me hungry for schnitzel every time you say Eichenwalde.
Yeah, Eichenwalde. Give me this schnitzel. I had this massive schnitzel with sauerkraut on. It was massive. This schnitzel. It was well nice. Yeah. Anyway, so the very end of the map. What I've noticed playing on the PTR is it seems to be very hard for attackers to finish the map, like very hard. A lot of the time, you generally seem to win if you're on defense. That's what I've noticed from the very...
interesting thing, like hearing this as well, I wonder how long, like, there's been a change, right, to defensive spawns. They cut down defensive spawn times. This is like one of those things that kind of snuck past a lot of people, but it's really influenced the game a lot. Like, times to attack have gone up. There's definitely a correlation between, defender spawns and attacking success. And I can't help but wonder if this was designed around the previous defender spawn time, because it sounds like defenders are just spawning too near, reinforcing a bit too fast, and there's not enough places I feel to attack on that last point. Well, it just feels like there needs to be like a flank route. There needs to be somewhere where you can get someone on high ground, you can intercept the spawns a little bit more, and you could just sort of take control a little bit more if you are pushing an advantage. It just feels like it's so hard to capitalize once you start getting around the corner. Holding it is so difficult, especially if they have something to stall with, like a Maya or a Reaper comes out and just starts buying time.
Or even
they're all going to be back in
Hanzo is really effective on that last point because of the small areas, and Junkrat is really effective as well because you are literally spamming into a very tight corridor, and there's not other places they can go. Like a lot of the time, you're going to hit them.
Yeah, the only way to go is indoors into another even tighter corridor.
Yeah,
it's easier. And you come out in a worse spot than you were first in. Like,
and then you're dead. Yeah. So
and you should be able to use the bonfire and respawn there.
Yes.
The enemies will then respawn.
When I seen that, right, I was showing AlphaCast that. I was like, hey, have you seen the little Easter egg on the map? And he's like, no. I said, there's a bonfire, and he's like, what? Because he loves Dark Souls. Like, showed it him, and it's just like a grey pile of ash because it didn't have any of the lighting effects on it. And he's like, oh my god! And then when obviously it went to the PTR, they put the little glowing effect on it. But it is a nice little touch. But Blizzard always do that anyway. So yeah, but Eichenwalde. I really like the second point after you've activated the payload and you go into the like just before the entrance to the castle. That seems really great. There's a ton of different things you can do. There's like underground flank routes which take you out the other side. There's just so much you can do there. It's great.
And there's a good control over the high ground as well because that can sort of topple either way because it's just going around and then back on itself. So if you can take that wall.
And fighting on the bridge is so dicey. It's so risky. Like I had a moment earlier where I got nano boosted. I got nano boosted at Soldier 76. I run onto the bridge right in front of Azari. She right clicks, and just the displacement is enough to knock me off it. And I'm nano boosted, preparing goals. No, my play of the game. It's so fun. It's just so cool. Like I was playing Genji and I was doing shit, just like jumping off the edge and then climbing up the side of the bridge and just using that as cover, just jumping around the edge.
Oh yeah, that's great. Do that too. It's so much fun. It's a really fun map as Genji as well because you can climb the whole tower.
There's so many places to play around in, cover everywhere, health packs all over the place. It's great.
Yeah, and what I found as well, which is really really nice, is that there's this whole passageway that goes from the around the tower area, the bottom floor of that, all the way to the other side where you can get up onto like the sort of wall bit, like the sort of overpass, and so and there's health packs on both sides.
There's a large health pack, and then there's a small one as you go through.
So what you do is Genji, you just go up, you like harass someone, you go across, you dash across, and you just go down, grab a health pack, you go up and go across, you can go underneath, you can keep just circling them around. It's great. It's a really fun map, and I'm not sure how to rate it, but. That part
it's early days.
10 out of 10.
Doubt 6 out of 10.
It's early days though, right? So
that's true.
I mean, I was quite surprised it was one of the hybrid maps, to be honest. I thought they were going to go for a different style of map, or maybe even try and change the way it functioned instead of just standard sort of capture point, move payload.
When I first heard about it was going to be a reverse hybrid.
Yeah.
You push the payload to get into the castle, and then you have to capture the suit of armor at the end.
Because it's a bit weird, right? Just taking the payload to the armor. It's like, here is the battering ram. It's like,
it anyway.
What? It's a bit weird. Like, whereas all the other payload maps kind of have a point. Like on Dorado, you got like that power generator
thing.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, send it into the power plant. So there's always something that you're kind of doing. Whereas it seems a bit weird on Eichenwalde. But yeah. So yeah. Early days for the map. I think it looks great. The soundtrack is awesome.
Beautiful.
And the soundtrack's awesome. Like this sort of Euro fucking dance, traditional American, traditional German
American tradition in America,
which actually was so Cologne, famous for the massive cathedral. Now I live in a city where there's a cathedral next to me, so these things are not amazing to me. I'm also English, so we've got castles and all this stuff. The Americans were like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And I'm like, "It's a cathedral." They're like, "Whoa,
has it got Wi-Fi?"
So,
where's the Starbucks in there?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. It's a fucking little Starbucks. Oh god.
Oh my god. All right. Let's talk about the PTR changes. I guess we can talk about Genji first. Talk about Genji first. Let's go, Genji.
Okay.
Go.
Genji's fine. He's fine. There. I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
I
not that
kind of
bad.
agree.
That's
Like,
all.
people went nuts when they heard this, and I said on this very podcast, I said if you're going to change Genji, you can't change his primary combat stuff. You can't change the damage, like his normal damage output. You can't interfere too much with the ultimate. Maybe you can turn a little, just dial it down a little bit, but you can't interfere too much with the primary gameplay flow. And what they've done is they've removed his ability to like reset a double jump on a wall climb. So you can't do it like a triple jump anymore. And they've removed like the dash combo. They've slowed it down, basically. You have to wait for the melee animation to complete, and then you can dash. There's such marginal differences. And when this change went through, everyone went fucking nuts. And it's like, Genji's removed from the meta.
Yeah, it was
what are
like
you
rip
doing?
Genji. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Genji's
see,
dead.
honestly,
Genji's
after
gone.
watching UQ, it's just Genji nerf. Why did you nerf Genji? Genji's dead now. What the fuck? Yeah, it's a bit crazy, really. I've played a lot of Genji in beta, and a lot of I think he's my most played hero still overall. And I gotta say, like, sure, you have to sort of think about not double jumping before wall climbing, because it gets a lot more difficult if you just double jump first, wall climb, and then you're just sort of like falling down from it. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. But other than that, really, it's the same sort of flow, it's the same pace. They haven't changed any damage numbers, meaning that you don't really get, sort of out of rhythm, or like, expect that like triple headshot with like shurikens or whatever to be enough. There's nothing like that. That's just like putting you off. And yeah, I feel like it's fine overall. I played a bunch of Genji today in like 3 competitive games, like on attack, not on defense. And all of them were fine. I didn't feel like I was getting, messed up, or like fell out of my sort of routine with Genji because of the new patch or anything. So yeah, I think it's fine, really. I don't have any.
You can still
complaints.
do what you need to do with Genji. You can still go in, you can still get killed, you can still use your ultimate, finish off a couple of people. And
Genji's still Genji. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, when I seen the patch notes, I was like, ooh, because all I really wanted was possibly the duration of the ultimate reducing, which is what they did, or the number of slashes you could do, which again is basically a duration reduction if you think about it. That was all I really wanted, and I was like, if you do that, then I think most people would be okay with Genji. But they went a little bit further, so like you've got the things with the Junkrat steel trap as well, where you no longer bypass that, which really shouldn't have been the case anyway. Really, if you think about it, the trap should catch you. It's like, so yeah, Genji's just Genji. It doesn't like all of this like doom that was put out there. Like Genji's gone. He's a total character you're not going to use anymore, and all that stuff. It's just not even the case. Genji's gone nowhere. If you're a Genji main, you're still playing Genji. You're still playing Genji. Exactly. It's like Miska said, the biggest thing is just the you can't jump after you've double jumped and wall climbed. So a Genji player needs to get that into their head, because they would be so used to doing that, because that's how Genji functioned for so long. Once you get through that, hey, still Genji.
It didn't take me too long either. Like, I thought it'd take me a little while to get used to it. I thought it'd like keep fucking up, and like would just be like, oh, I just wall climb up here and then jump to this like high ground. No, I'd like after like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 games, I was kind of into the routine of the new wall climb. But other than that, I would say that it's fine, really. Yeah.
All right,
no rip Genji.
No rip Genji. Let's go Hanzo then. I'm changing the topic.
Hanzo.
Hanzo.
Holy shit! Like they changed the hitbox on it, and for that first moment where they changed it now, but before it was fucking ridiculous, because they buffed his attack, like the flight speed of his arrows and how fast he can move.
Yeah, well, hang on, Josh. Let me get the thingy. I think they buffed his movement speed by an additional 10%, but when he's got the arrow drawn, and projectiles are 30% faster when they're fired. And as you said, they just reverted the hitbox, changed back to how it used to be, which was a bit crazy, and they've since reduced that by 33%.
Yeah. And like before, it was crazy. Like the thing with Hanzo is, the way it was before, it felt like any kill he got was undeserved. Like he sometimes even in the hitbox, when your model collapsed, like the arrow will be floating next to your head, and it's just like, why am I dead? That doesn't feel fair. That doesn't feel right. why has that happened? And so you had that feeling again at every single game, like especially because Eichenwalde is very like narrow in places, and Hanzo's just good on that map because he can spam from high ground, he can move around a lot. There's a lot of good places for sonic arrows, so he's going to be good as a defensive pick on that map anyway. It just felt obnoxious, basically. And now they've reverted some of the change to the hitbox model, and it's a lot better. And I think we might be entering a world where Hanzo isn't a completely trash pick.
Well,
that's a scary world to live in.
Everybody's on it, so it's fine. Like, oh, we got 3 Hanzos. At least one of them's going to be good, so we'll be fine, right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, there's so many Hanzos now. And I agree. Like with what Josh said as well. Like it's again, like you always looked at your team and you went, "Oh shit, we have a Hanzo." Like, fuck. Yeah. Like this is the most inconsistent pick in the game, probably. And now you kind of look at it and go, "Wait, this Hanzo could actually be decent, and if he's decent enough, he could actually do a lot of work." I've experienced already in like a few competitive matches on the PTR that Hanzo's actually done quite a lot. You know, like because you are more consistent, you will you pick more Hanzo, you will have more sonar arrow, which in itself is
really
great
powerful.
Ability very underrated in my opinion. And the scatter arrow too, of course, is just a massive burst of damage if you work it correctly. And I gotta say, I'm quite intrigued, and like I look at all of this as a pretty positive thing, because I think that Hanzo was just always like sort of awkwardly wedged into the game, but now he's in a really good spot compared to before. We'll see if it's enough though. Like it's always hard to tell with these things before the patch has actually gone live on the live game and not the PTR, because then you'll see people playing more on stream, in tournaments, and so on, and that's when things will get really interesting.
I heard when the patch first hit, I think it was Gods apparently went and played Hanzo, and again, this was before the hitbox changed, and apparently he was just soloing entire teams with Hanzo.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's Gods playing on the PTR. That's like a top tier player, probably playing against people not quite his level.
Yeah, but you saw Kib in the...
It shows the potential, right?
Saw Kib in the ESL Atlantic Showdown as well. He played Hanzo on offense. It wasn't even in the patch, you know, it was before. It still worked out really well. I mean, sure, it was against Complexity, who they did stomp in that series, to say the least. But, like, still, it's a fairly high-level game, you know? And Hanzo worked out, so in this patch, maybe he'll work out even better. So, yeah, I'm interested. More of this sort of stuff, Blizzard. It works.
Well, he's rewarded to play.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Ryan. Yeah, he's fun to play. Hanzo's always been fun to play, but he's just been like, you know, any player worth their salt knows that they should not be playing fucking Hanzo in a competitive game, because they're going to be more effective on like a McCree or a Soldier or whatever, because you're putting out more consistent DPSs. It's like, even when you said, Miska, about the scatter arrow, when you, I think you said when you get it right, it's like, if it decides to play right, it's like, it's still a little bit random, right?
If you shoot a curb and it bounces back at you.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, Hanzo's always probably going to have some of that in him, because he just has to, right? Because of the nature of his character. But
the lottery arrow.
Yeah.
As a friend of mine calls it.
But I think we're going to be seeing more Graviton Surge, Hanzo ulti combos in the future, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, so Hanzo, yeah, I don't think he's finished. I think they'll probably do a couple of other changes to him, because he still feels like he needs a little bit of something, but he's in a way better place than he was before, like way better. Way better. So, who do you want to talk about next who's been changed?
I kind of want to talk about May. She hasn't changed much, but enough, you know, like she can throw her ultimate through a Reinhardt barrier and through a Winston barrier, and whilst that's not a lot, it gets a lot of people thinking that, hey, maybe May is actually a better pick now. And
it's also bigger as well.
They watched the ESL Atlantic Showdown too.
Tariq,
a certain player.
Yeah.
Tariq sent out a tweet and said, "Oh my god, what have I done? I ruined everyone's competitive matches."
Yeah.
I tried to get Tariq on this for today to quiz him about that, but I think they've got E-League qualifiers or something going on. Which, to be fair, you can you can do that. It's probably a little bit more important.
Thing instead of doing interviews with
esports.
Esports player playing esports. Oh, what the fuck? But I do agree. May, I've seen May in so many competitive games. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm on a PTR, and it's just every time you see a May on either your team or the enemy team, and like after a while they might realize that they're not so good, or they play really fucking good. And it's interesting to see, because I think what this patch has really done is that a lot of people have looked at May and are now going sort of with same with Hanzo, that, oh shit, this might be a better pick now. And some people are actually playing her really well. A lot. I might actually say, like, loads, and probably the majority of the people that pick me aren't playing her very well, unfortunately. And that doesn't have to be because they haven't, like, they're not a good player or whatever. It might be because they haven't played a lot of May. It might be because they're not used to projectile heroes and rather like hit scan and that sort of thing. There's a lot of factors there, but I do think this is interesting, like this sort of influx of May in the PTR competitive sort of, I guess, aspect of the game at least. But we'll see where it goes. I'm interested to see. But yeah, I think it's a good change. It's like it's a bit of a buff, but it just like as a runner, you can't just stand there and just be like, yep, okay, you cannot toss. You're actually unable to use your ultimate. Like you have to toss it over me, and then I have like about half a minute
the ultimate
time.
It still affected him through his shield when it was deployed, but you couldn't actually throw it through his shield. And I think they actually said that it's a bit stupid. You should just be able to chuck it through the shield.
Yeah, but that just means that you, as a runner, you can't. Hear the ultimate, have it bounce like in front of you, and okay, I'm close to the center at like best for May, so I can just get the fuck out of here,
But now you can push it behind him, and now he has to come into you, or he has to back up and get frozen, or that's the big thing. The rest of the team's fucked, and
I think that's good. It changes playstyle a little bit, and it's an interesting aspect of the game. I'm looking forward to seeing how that will work out, if she will get played more or not. I gotta say, maybe not as much as other heroes, but
it makes them more viable. I mean, as I said, I've been playing a lot of Eichenwalde on the PTR, and the final point when you're on attack and you're using May, you throw your ultimate into that. Holy shit. You're freezing half the team most of the time, just around the bend.
Yeah, she's really good.
It's really, really strong. It's like crazy strong, especially if they're defending on the lower ground and pushing forward. It is ridiculously strong. Because again, I think it's like a 2 meter increase on the radius, which is actually quite a lot because it's
it's like 30-something%. Like if you look at the actual area, it's quite a lot. Yeah, someone visualized it very well and did the math, and it was.
And you can like catch people by surprise as well by like throwing it into the corner because it's going to catch people, and they're trying to listen out for it or look for the projectile, but they don't see it because you chucked it into the floor straight away, and it hidden in the corner, and it catches people off guard. Yeah, I really like May. May is now. I mean, she's an absolute bitch. Don't get me wrong, but she's like you can do some nice things with May now. And as I said, it's only a really minor change, but those are the changes that always interest me the most. Where this little small change suddenly fixes people. Which go on, Ryan. You go.
There's a lot of little quality of life ones that we've seen with like Roadhog, with Soldier, that have just sort of made everything a little bit more easier to deal with. And it's really sort of tricky to look at it and go like, they're so much better, so much worse, because there's so minute changes that, especially with like Hanzo and stuff, Hanzo could be a really good option, but we kind of have to wait and see a spectrum of people that are both really good and fucking atrocious at playing him, and see whereabouts he lands on there, because it took a while for people to decide that Widowmaker was a little bit too strong, because so many people were just rubbish with her, so it was hard to tell. So, there's loads of little ones that you could go over that are all there, and most of which are pretty good. I don't think there are any there that necessarily are bad, but I do like the change to ultimates in terms of how quickly the gauge decreases.
Should we talk about McCree?
Yeah, let's go to McCree, because this affects McCree in a nice way.
McCree, because McCree. So the way it used to work, and this annoyed the shit out of everyone on pro teams, because the way that Deadeye turned into was a zoning tool, because you could fire it and then you could cancel it and retain 50% of your ultimate. They have now removed that. Now your ultimate completely drains, which it should have done since the start.
Since the beginning of time.
And they made it basically so that the ultimate will drain way faster no matter what hero you use. Because a lot of heroes, if it's an activated ultimate, it just it winds down. It took about a second before. Now it takes like a quarter of a second for it to drain. So there's less of those instances where you fire it and you get killed like half a second in, but you've still done some damage. And I've said this before, I think on this podcast, even that, there was a pro game where Farah fires off an ultimate, gets a barrage, gets a kill with a barrage, gets killed super early in the barrage, and retained like 70% of it. So she still got an effect out of the ultimate, but managed to get it back in like 2 seconds later when she respawned. That shouldn't happen. Once you use the ultimate, if it's been used, it's gone. If you get killed and you got 20 ticks before, if you get 60 ticks now, then fine. You didn't quite draw the Dragon Blade, the sound cue went off, but you didn't draw it. So okay, you still have it. But once it's drawn, it's gone. That's it.
Yeah, Reaper's a good example of that.
Like Reaper, once you press Q, that's it, it's gone, it's finished. Soldiers press Q, it's gone, you don't get a second chance anymore. That should have been instant to start, and I'm so glad it's there now. For McCree, Jesus, it was annoying just watching pros use Deadeye non-stop as a zoning tool, and it just slows the game down, it shuts the game down, there's no decision making involved in it. It's just, they're trying to push fire Deadeye. Okay, you got 50% of it, just land a couple of headshots, do some poke, you got it again, you can zone again. that's gone. It's going to speed the game up. It's going to make the game faster. It's going to make McCree more situational. It's going to make him a little bit weaker, but it's going to make his Dead Eyes that much more spectacular because people are trying to get results now. You're incentivized to try and get kills with it.
Which is always the case, right? That should always be the case, right? An ultimate needs to be used. It's that you have to decide when you're going to use this, and that's the gamble, right? I'm going to use my ultimate right now. Oh shit, it was a bad ultimate. Not like you said, oh, it's fine, I'll just cancel it. I've got 50% of my bloody Dead Eye.
You gotta keep in mind though, as for like McCree especially, like you still have the stun, you know, which is a bit of sort of like cancel ultimate ability, you know. So it does still like sure, it's really shit for McCree like overall. Like it definitely like draws him back, you know. Having not having that 50% is like it can be the difference sometimes. But having the flashbang stun, like imagine a Death Blossom, like that draining faster before you stunning him. Now when you stun him that early, he drains more. You know, there's still there's still a little bit.
There's less chance that they're going to have a bit of ultimate left over when you stun them off.
Exactly. Yeah, stuns are just a little bit better as well. But I think it's a great change, honestly. Like it was on the top of the patch notes, I believe, when you read it. Everybody just probably read it and went like, "Oh, wow, yes, thank you," like, because it really does help. It makes a difference, like how like the pace of the game changes a little bit because of it. But yeah, it's great. Good shit, Blizzard.
All right, well, I guess we can talk about Lucio because Lucio had a nerf to his movement buff. So, as we all know, Lucio is integral to every single team because Lucio can speed boost you into the attack, which is literally the most powerful ability in the frigging game. And this is why Lucio is going to be in every single team. And now the dilemma for Blizzard is, what do? If you remove his speed boost ability, the game's going to slow down, or even just not even when he's using speed boost itself, and when he's amping it up, just generally using it. You remove that from the game, it makes it slow, but it also takes away from what Lucio is because he's the music man. He plays the speed song, he plays the healing song. So what do you do?
Yeah, I think the only way you're going to fix Lucio, get rid of Lucio, you're going to have add another hero. And like I was talking about this when I went over the patch, like you have to have another hero that has a different speed boost mechanic. Like I was theorizing, they put zones on the floor that give you a speed boost, like just like boost zones that you run through, and that gives you like an amped up speed. So you can set up an attack, like a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of thing. You just put a speed boost on the floor, and everyone charges through it, and they get a speed boost.
It's not Sombra, guys. It's Sonic.
It's Sonic. You gotta go fast. Team's gonna go fast.
Sonic.
Yeah, no, I think we were talking to Cruz about this. Like we did a bit of an interview with Reunited, and we were talking to Cruz at one point, and I think we talked about the Boston nerfs, and he essentially said that Lucio is one of the very few heroes in Overwatch that can both engage and disengage with his whole team with just the use of one ability. Like you look at the entirety of the other heroes, the whole roster. There's not a hero that can disengage and engage like that easily. And he's just probably going to stay there because of it. There's definitely, you can definitely feel the difference. Like, if you go into, control now and you're used to the whole speed boost at the start, you can definitely feel the difference, that 30% reduction. But I don't think it's enough to, take him out or anything.
Yeah.
No, you'll still be used. It's not enough.
It slows both teams down. It's not just yours.
Oh, yeah.
So, naturally, it'll be still, Lucio will still be picked loads. If not, I don't know if there will be much of a change at all, honestly, maybe. Yeah, but
it's the other support slot that might be changing because, hey, if you want to change the overlay a bit, if we were done on Lucio, let's talk about
you don't have to tell me, man. I'm professional. I've already changed it.
You're already on it.
What a twist into it.
Oh, my God. Stai's learning. So, yeah. Wow. Mercy and Zenyatta. So Mercy got buffed. She heals faster.
Hey,
and it basically makes her, just a better solo healer. Like, she can basically keep an entire team alive on her own. She used to be able to do that. She can do that even more now. It's now really hard to kill people that she's healing. It's great.
Yay!
Mercy's more viable.
Yeah, I think the Mercy change is really nice. You start to see her more overall, in competitive play, because people go, oh yeah, Mercy isn't just that worse pick than Zenyatta now. She's actually a decent support. So, support combinations have been interesting so far in the PTR. Like to see the different ones. I don't Zenyatta is still very strong though.
Yeah, so although you got cut down to now Discord 30%.
Yep. Which is I think is Zenyatta change is really good. He's still very
strong.
A
lot though. Yeah,
He doesn't just put that Discord orb on a Roadhog. Your allies just shoot that Roadhog and he's just dead instantly. Taking that down was nice. Upping his own damage was nice. Good changes overall to Zenyatta and Mercy, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I guess we can talk about 76 now. He had some changes come in, but then he's had some more changes come in since the big PTR patch. Where what they've done with him now is he is basically like a burst fire hero at long range, and he's very accurate. So I think it's four or five shots you fire off, and you pretty much instantly recover. So the spread is non-existent, and you can fire again. Now, what I like about this is it makes Soldier. Well, it means Soldier's back. Soldier is no longer just the guy who was this trash pick because McCree was just better in every single way. Because you can still reliably hit people at range. You're not going to do tons of damage, but you can still hit them. You've also
More
got
consistent.
Yeah, he's more consistent. It's like, again, if you talk about Hanzo with his inconsistent damage, this makes Soldier way more consistent. So it would make Soldier a better pick on paper than Hanzo because it's just more consistent damage. Now, the thing I like about Soldier is you get jumped with Soldier, you can just go fully auto and start blasting away on a Tracer at point blank range if that's what you want to do. You can fire your Helix rocket in. You've still got your heal. You've now got your long range poke back, and you can still keep doing it. I really like this. Like, I really, really like this. Again, this is like one of those minor changes which has made Soldier, right?
Make Soldier great again, and they did.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's what I feel anyway. What do you guys think? Anyway?
It's amazing. Like I played him early, just before. Like, I mean, it was kind of during this podcast. Honestly, at the start, we were setting up, and I was still like in a competitive game, and I was playing some Soldier first, and then I was playing Genji. And Soldier, I experienced that like on Numbani. You know, you're defending Numbani. Like Soldier used to be run quite a lot, not as much later on. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Like you basically have no recoil if you just burst correctly and hit a lot of headshots, deal a lot of damage, very reliably. It feels great, and I think it's going to be played a lot more in like sort of esports competitive level and Overwatch.
With McCree changing, Soldier's probably going to be coming back in a bit, especially when that's a lot of high ground. Gibraltar, Numbani spring to mind instantly. Eichenwalde, of course, when that comes in.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty great. I really
Long
like
live the Soldier.
It feels so good as well. Like
Bromas is going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, good change. Nice one. The whole patch is great. So this part in particular.
Yeah, aside from like the Hanzo change at first, and I want to see how Hanzo turns out, the patch is improvements all around.
So, I guess we can talk about Season 2. Have you guys played this on the PTR? I haven't played it on the PTR, but I
did one round of placements where, like, because they put Season 2 on the PTR during Gamescom.
Yeah,
and I did my placements there. Then they put Eichenwalde on, and my placements got reset, so I was very upset. So I placed into Diamond, and I was quite happy with that. But yeah, like it's a lot of fun. I thought I was going to be more annoyed about draws than I was, but I had one draw during my placements, and it felt okay. Like, it was better than going to a coin flip. Like, that was in the back of my mind. It's like, well, it's either this or a coin flip, and I'll take this instead. We had some points, and I placed with like 3,065, I think. And I think I had like maybe 2 losses and a draw.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah. I had, me and Josh talked about it a little bit before. I had like very average. I think I lost and won just as many games in my placement games. Lost 5, won 5. And like some of those losses were because like people just left because, you know, it's PTR and yada yada. And that's fine, but I calibrated at 2,968 or something like that. Like, it was just under 3K, and yeah, it feels really good overall. I actually haven't had a draw though. Like, I haven't had a single game be drawn, and I played 20 games, I think. So that's gonna be interesting to like see when I actually get to experience that properly. But I'm really happy with it so far. I really like the time bank with payload. It feels great. Like, in theory, it was already good, but it feels really fun to play as well. So yeah, I'm very.
The only issue I have with that is, like, if you push, like, I think the draw happened for me on Hollywood, where we both pushed to the end and then we both failed the first point offense because we both had, like, you know, a minute 40 to do it. Yeah. I think we had like a minute 40 and they had 1 minute, and it just felt a little bit like, well, we had a minute 40 going into it. You know, part of me was thinking, well, why isn't this just pure stopwatch? Why didn't we count the win for us then? But it kind of worked, and I think in situations where you both push it really fast, it's just a better system in overall.
Yes, I gotta say, I don't think Blizzard will ever just go, all right, fine, stopwatch it is. Like,
they're kind of stubborn on this one.
They're very stubborn about this sort of stuff. Yeah,
at least they got hero limits in. Still.
Yeah, exactly. At least they decided to sort of, you know, just roll.
I can't live without it now. Just quick plays, just especially.
Just quick plays, just
shithole
garbage right now.
It's just like 5 Hanzos and some poor guy trying to play Mercy or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Guys, we should pick a proper team. We should have all these Hanzos. I want to test Hanzo.
I didn't realise Mr. Bean played Overwatch, but
Mr. Bean is a legend.
He's been on my team too many times, mate.
So
There's always somebody on it
the
too.
whole thing with the, I think actually they've there is a there was a 500 rating limit, so you had to be within 500 rate to play with people. I believe that's been increased to 1,000 now.
If you are not in the top 2 brackets, if you're in Grandmaster and Master, it's 500 still. If you're
okay.
below that, it's 1,000. Honestly, I think 500 was fine. But
yeah, but it's Blizzard, and they want you to play with your
people...
friends.
Yeah.
So if your friend is an amazing player, they want you to play. So I kind of always expected that would happen. When they first said 500 across all the tiers, I was like, they're probably going to change that. And
even
I guess
they said
did.
like, we don't know if we're going to keep it like that, but we can easily adjust.
Yeah,
it needs to be in place
for a reason.
It needs to be tight at Master and Grandmaster. Like, you don't want what we saw happen a couple of times, where there was like a level 50 on the other team, dragging down the average rating of the other team. That's super frustrating to go against, because they're all like rank 80, 81, top 500 players.
Yeah, and then there's like 52 on the team just to pull their team average below ours, and slow underdog and blah blah blah. It was frustrating. But the whole, I mean, just looking at the actual brackets that they've got now, using the StarCraft 2 system, because that's what it is. It feels way better. Like, obviously bronze still is shit. Let's be honest. If you're bronze, that bronze is a shit metal. It's not gold. It's not platinum. It's not all of these fancy metals. But basically, you do feel as if you've like achieved something now. Like, and obviously where you can't be demoted out of the brackets you get into again is kind of nice. Obviously, if you're in Grandmasters or Masters, you can move around in those brackets. You can't just remain in Grandmasters forever. And there's also the rating decay you get in the top 2 tiers, I think, as well. I think it's like 50 a day or something if you've not played in a while, which...
It's like a week, I think you have to not play or something before decay really starts kicking in. It's very lenient.
It's a week, and then it's like every day starts decaying. System's great overall. Season 2 is going to be amazing. I gotta say, I'm a little bit gutted that it wasn't just there when I came back from Gamescom and on the Tuesday that we have to wait until the 6th of September. It's all right, but still, like, I just want to get going.
We're kind of waiting for this. We're waiting for Sombra. We're waiting for all of these patches to the live server. It's kind of like everybody's just like...
We're waiting for what? What was that? That S thing?
S-ATAIII.
Waiting for S-ATAIII.
S-ATAIII. Coming soon.
I've not heard of that.
But yeah, I mean, I do agree. The game is in a bit of weird sort of limbo between season start and season end, and new content and like old content. It's just a bit like.
I've heard a lot of this from some of like the higher end players, so they all kind of feel a bit lost now.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of them are retreating to like in houses, so they just get 12 people together, and they just like draft teams from each other and just play each other, and just like impose one hero limit and stuff like that, because they don't really want to play quick play, but they don't want to play competitive on the PTR because it's all over the place, and there's just not that many people playing on the PTR, so you don't get as good games and good matchmaking. So it's in a bit of a limbo. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing in future this sort of lull between seasons come down a little bit.
But this is like the ideal time to put out new stuff and new heroes and these new changes anyway.
Which is what it's for.
It's like a shuffle period.
Because if you have season 2 start with all of these changes which kind of don't necessarily work, because it's like the thing that we've seen a lot happen is some of the changes have come out and have gone, oh yeah, this seems good, they're going live, and then a couple of weeks later it's like, this is fucking shit. What is going on? Like, you just like, it's like with season, like the first season, it's a lot of people like, yes, it was good. And like a couple of weeks in, it was like, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. Why would they do this to us? Because like, you can't gauge that over time. You've got to get used to it. And so now is a good time to throw in potential new heroes that might be coming soon, and just sort of pushing it out there a little bit more instead of it's all on the PTR, because not everybody uses the PTR. So
no, and not people don't even know about the PTR as well, which is
so if they keep doing this, they're going to have literally like loads of people just stop playing, and then they'll come back in 2 weeks, and nobody wants that. It's a good time to get everything.
I mean, what I would, ideally you want to get like Eichenwalde on the actual server. Like, you want to have it on the PTR towards the end of the season, and then you want to have it hit the server and hit quick play, or have that brawl that they have now running during some of the downtime.
As soon as season 2 ends, whatever,
we want to have new
hero
shit ready to experiment with and get ready for competitive season 3, and then go into that. Yeah, that would be a better system.
Because if we don't see anything for the next 2 weeks, that's going to be pretty horrible. Just having to deal with.
It's going to be downtime. I mean, there are things keeping people entertained, but they're not necessarily in the game.
The game itself, it's still like it's still good and all, but I do. It gets a little bit not dull, but like. So I got to play on the PTR for like a while now. So
at least put in like a competitive rule set mode that we can just play around on instead of having to play nothing but quick play.
Yeah. I mean, at least just that. It's just a bit of a shame that every time I play a game in PTR, I'm like, oh yes, nice, I won. Like, I almost hit diamond. like super close to it now. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be reset. Oh.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, but it's all right. I'm still enjoying it a lot. I thought it was a great idea to put Eichenwalde as the brawl and as a hero limit brawl.
Yes,
Well, that's the way. Yeah, that's how you get
amazing.
around the maps. Yeah.
Thank God. But thank God they did that. It would have been horrible if it was like like when Ilios
But you just
came
have
out.
people joining and leaving constantly because they want to play.
But like,
Hanzo.
yeah, like Ilios came out.
I was
And
that
nobody
guy.
got to play it.
I was that guy.
It
Oh,
was
no.
It took me like 2 days to get to play Ilios after it hit the beta. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just don't get to play the new content. Like, what's the point? But yeah, so yeah, good job on that.
All right, let's move on. Let's go for let's talk about the last Bastion. We've not spoke about this. So this was the big, like, because I've got the Ganymede, which is on the stage, which is really nice because he's got.
I really want that.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think they're $20 when they'll be available.
It's only 2.
They got
in the
little
world right now.
like little feet clipped together.
I think the Pepe, like the little WoW bird, has that as well.
Yeah, so you can
Oh,
stick
okay.
them.
Oh, I saw someone with like.
It is really
there
nice
was
though. Look at it. It's really nice.
I saw someone with like a Pepe and like the bird and Pepe like the frog T-shirt.
Yeah.
I was like Gamescom.
Gamescom.
It was fuck! It was so good. I want that merch.
Beep
too,
boop,
but
activating
yeah,
kill protocol.
The Ganymede is amazing, and I remember walking up to your side when you had that. Like it was like
Yeah, you
the last
touched
day
it.
or something. I was like, oh, like the like are the feet like little like clamps or whatever? And you were like, I don't know. Like, oh yeah, shit, they are. But yeah, it's pretty cool plush.
It is cool.
Not sponsored, but
Not sponsored.
Cool.
Not anymore. So yeah, the last Bastion. Now, I don't know. I mean, honestly, it was a great. They're all great. These shorts are. They're all like Pixar quality. They're totally ridiculous. I mean, I felt went on a little bit too long at the start. That did. I got the message. I knew what they were trying to convey, and it just carried on. Basically, I just wanted a massive battle scene for 10 minutes, not just like 10 seconds.
That Omnic battle.
Oh yeah, it looked
like, I
amazing.
want to see more of that, where you see like the Crusaders with their
Goes
shields
with a
and-
fire strike.
Yeah,
and
with a fire strike.
Oh,
And the amount of people like on my Twitter going, but if Reinhardt has his barrier up against 2 bastions, surely the barrier would go down. It's like Tracer can't blink a million times, but she does it around Widowmaker. Like, that's not the point here.
There is one thing I will say about
Reaper
it.
can't fly. He flies in.
or
Yeah,
fire
yeah.
grenades as well, because he fires grenades.
Yeah, shit, yeah. Would have
Fucking
done
hell,
one time ago. I appreciate it was basically a silent film because I got sick of hearing the Legion trailer in German constantly.
Oh,
in
you
the
were not.
desert
You were
area.
not in there all day, every day with the. Oh God.
Yeah. Like when the ship crashes like into the other one. It's just
Oh
like,
god, yeah,
oh,
man.
wait,
Eardrums.
Fucking
It
hell.
was so loud at the Legion Cafe as well that we kind of just bracing ourselves. Just waiting.
Yeah.
Hold. Oh, and
Yeah,
it hits you.
exactly. Oh,
It's
shit, here it
back.
comes again, yeah.
You know what they did one day as well? They just turned the bass on full volume, like a blast of it. Fucking everybody was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Like I don't know what they were doing. It could not have been a test because this was during the show, and it was just like bloody hell. It was like it.
Some dude sitting there with like.
Yeah, well, I was
With the
sitting.
bass.
I had the headset on. I had the broadcast headset on, which is noise cancelling, and the desk vibrated, and I went, "Whoa!" like that, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" It was crazy. Actually, I know we're supposed to be talking about Last Bastion, but they had video games live on the stage at an orchestra. That was fucking
yeah.
amazing. That was holy shit. That was
I
amazing.
saw a lot of tweets saying, like, you know, they have bands at the end of BlizzCon. It's usually like some 90s, 2000 bands. Like they had Linkin
Yeah,
Park,
yeah.
I think, last year. I didn't watch that. I was playing Overwatch upstairs. That was my BlizzCon experience. But like people were just saying, like, just bring video games live because that concept was so good apparently that they just want to see more of it.
But they did it twice. They did it, and they did a couple of like I guess you could say renditions over the trailers. Well, they did the Overwatch one. They did I think maybe one for StarCraft or something. But just hearing it live, like when you hear like the World of Warcraft music, you get goosebumps, right? And I didn't play
Blizzard
that much
music.
well,
I just got
and I'm
goosebumps
just like
thinking about it.
shit. Even Hearthstone, when that started going, it's like, and everybody's like, wait, and all started clapping. It was so cool. That was just like, my God, that was so cool. Like, there is something to be said for hearing an orchestra live that everybody should actually go and try and do this. It doesn't have to be game music. It's just, there is something about that. It feels very cultured. It feels like, my God, this is music. This isn't no drum and bass shit. This isn't Beyonce. This is like, whoa.
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, it was awesome. Anyway, Last Bastion. Right, come on.
Last Bastion.
It
The
was
cool
good.
thing about the Last Bastion is I can like take the Last Bastion and show it to my mum, and my mum would get it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need
Yeah.
to know about Overwatch. You don't need to know about the universe. You could take it to a film festival and show it just as an independent animated short, and you would get it. you would get that this is a robot, that he's been left from some kind of battle, and that he's reactivating, and that he's sort of struggling to figure out what he is. And that sums up Bastion's story perfectly as well. And it just sets it up. It sets Bastion up, and it's just really nicely done. It's just good storytelling. Yeah, and I thought it was fantastic. Like, it's a really good animation.
Yeah, I enjoyed the big Omnic Crisis battlefield scene as well.
Like, I've got a video on this going up tonight. I'll tell you what scared the shit out of me. It's the scene when Bastion's just walking out the forest and he's activated with the red eye. Yeah, like, that makes the Overwatch world seem scary as hell. Because like, living in Europe, you know, if you've traveled around France, you know, there's forests and stuff from like World War I, World War II, where you just can't go because there's unexploded munitions in there. Well, imagine if there's fucking killing robots in there that could reactivate and walk into a city. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. I was just watching that thinking, oh my god, like that. If Ganymede wasn't there, bloody hell.
Ganymede wasn't there, he saved us all.
Yeah, he only murdered all of Ganymede's family when he mowed down the forest, and he doesn't seem to care. It's like, yeah, but it was really good. I just felt it went a little bit too long at the start, but once you get the message, then you get to the battle scene, and then you get the end.
Just that 10-second battle scene in itself was just like,
I was just replaying it over and over again. In fact, I was that sad. I was sitting in the bath in my hotel room with my phone, replaying it over and over again. So I was trying to take a screenshot of it to put a tweet out, and I'm like, shit, I want the bit where the Crusaders like going in. It's like, oh my god, it was so good. Now I've got like about 30 screen caps of the bloody trailer in my phone.
It's nice to see it envisaged, because like having like there was a war with a lot of bastions, kind of like
sounds shit, don't it?
The only place you could see kind of the Omnic Crisis before, as like a lore guy, like the only place you could see it before was in like the very first thing they showed, and it's like had the drawn stills.
Oh,
like
the Kremlin.
These ships flying, and you like robots landing and stuff like that. Or you had like the huge Omnic overlooking Sydney Opera House and stuff like that. And it's like, it doesn't really give you a feeling of what that would have been like and what that is. And now you get an idea of like, this was fucking terrifying. And now you sort of get why Zarya, for example, is so staunchly anti-Omnic, because these things were built to kill people. They were built to murder people.
Zarya's got a lot of specific voice lines on Eichenwalde as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to do a piss poor. I'm not even going to attempt to do her accent, but like saying, oh, this will not happen in Russia and all that crap.
Yeah, I will not let this happen to my comrades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can understand like Zarya more, you can understand Torbjorn more, seeing that devastation around you and seeing the effects of this war. Pretty cool shot.
I got a very strong like Terminator 2 vibe for it as soon as I seen it. I was like, my god, this looks like, you know, Skynet has been activated, and it's Skynet, like
Judgment Day.
Yeah. Blizzard ripping off other IPs.
I was thinking more Iron Giant,
but Iron Giant.
Yeah, Superman. I guess a little bit.
Well, I guess we can talk about Sombra.
Nah, nobody wants to talk about Sombra.
Does anybody really want to talk about Sombra? Because I mean, it's just like, who even knows what's going on?
In Sombra? Let's talk about the Sombra ARG, because I mean,
we got to talk about it.
I want to I want to ask your Twitter account. Do you do have like double verification on it and all that kind of stuff? Because you were tweeting some weird shit not long ago, some really weird shit. Hopefully that's all fixed.
More weird than usual. You do post a lot of shit, just to be clear.
Shit, but...
So you got to get your two-step verification.
Pictures of my legs I've been posting.
You got two-step verification on, right, lad?
Yeah, two-step verification. You got to get that like mobile phone recovery thing. Like, you can't just let this sort of shit happen.
Get your thumbprint.
All I can say, it's going to be very interesting to see this develop. Very interested indeed.
Yeah,
it's going to take fucking forever, apparently, if we're still stuck on 5%.
I've got the website open now, and it says momentandcrime.com. It's, by the way, if you're not aware, if, like, I've put out a video yesterday on it. I think everyone's put out videos on the Sombra ARG, so go look that up. There's also a good
we haven't actually.
Come on.
Their video's impending. It's going to come out very soon. Trust me. Everyone's getting in on this because it's huge. And because, well, now we've got a momentandcrime.com, and it's on 5% of a countdown that's transmitting information to Omnic activation. But what do we know? To me, like, the thing that's annoying me about this ARG is it's gone on for like a month now. It's gone on for ages now. We don't have a screenshot of Sombra. We don't have any substance. There's a lot of code breaking. There's a lot of skull icons. We know that kind of stuff. We know that she's a hacker.
I agree with the people that are saying that. I think people fell behind a lot. Like Blizzard gave everyone that's trying to solve the ARG quite a lot. And yeah, sure, the Sky Code really fucked a lot of people over. Yeah. But if you go back and if you go to there's a really good page on the Game Detectives wiki, and if you go there, you can actually see that at one point they're given this new data march, of course, that was like sort of Volskaya hint or whatever that came in. and that puts like a bunch of heroes in a certain order. Now, if you look at the actual compass, if you read it from top to bottom, left to right, it's that order. So, and there's a lot of those things which like could have been connected that people missed. I'm sure there's some clue out there that people never found like ever. So
yeah, well, the salted key thing never seemed to go anywhere. Like people still never figured that out.
Yeah, and that's like, so honestly, like I think it's just been slowed down quite a lot. And
there's a ton of people working on this. Like the internet's pretty damn clever at this kind of thing.
Yeah,
I kind of have a feel it's either Blizzard have been too clever, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if Blizzard have done ARGs before. I'm not sure who they're getting into like get help with this stuff. But something went a little bit wrong, and people fell behind, and it happens, you know. But
people went too deep.
It's
because as Hook says, you should never go too deep when you play Reinhardt.
Blinks and put them into binary. It's just like
it's like people found like the buildings in the back of the Summer Games trailer. We're like, oh, the buildings are blinking in Morse, and there's someone just did like 2 pages of just ones and zeros translating that Morse into binary. It's just like.
It just translates as "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
What the fuck are you looking at this for, dumbass?
It was a bit crazy. I think people are back on track now, though. Of course, like I mean,
I think Blizzard nudged people back on track a little bit.
And a moment in crime.
Very blatantly nudged people back on track.
Yeah, well, now we have this countdown.
Yeah.
Well, count up. Hopefully, it's I mean, at this rate, it's going to take forever. I'm guessing maybe there's something that people can do to speed it up.
Well,
that's what some people
think about how fast it was going when it originally came out. And now there's been why is it stopped?
Yeah, some people are saying that it's like, oh, we have to find more stuff for it to like keep going up, for like obviously Blizzard to basically press a button for that to take up another step.
Just somebody waiting. They found it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Someone posted the right thing on Reddit. Hit the button.
Exactly. Hit the button, Jeff.
Engage.
But basically, I can also imagine that someone said this, that maybe they're going to reveal more stuff and it's going to start counting up more, like not rapidly necessarily, but like consistently. And then there's something that everyone has to do before that hits 100%. Because that Omnic shit, like reactivating or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people theorize about this as well. I've heard people say, like, oh, is man versus machine coming to Overwatch? Is the Horde mode coming? Is that what it's going to be?
Yeah.
I have doubts. Personally, I don't think that they'll be ready to release that. I can see Styles
why didn't they release a
fucking
Gamescom
faces
sort of thing?
stop.
It's just...
I swear Styles like the master troll. Just fucking... Styles knows that he could play everyone just by making facial expressions non-stop. He's teasing me now, though. That's getting me annoyed because I can address it and I'm here.
He'll start sending me messages. Let me know. Give me answers.
Tell me.
Please.
Tell me everything.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting ARG and campaign, I guess you could call it. It's the announcement.
I wish we had something. Just something other than an icon.
Yeah. Soon TM.
Soon, very soon.
Well, not very soon, at this rate.
Very soon, yeah.
So all you smart people who know how like ciphers work and how keys work and
game detectors, we need to plug those guys. Yeah, what you should do is Google that. There's like, I think they've got a Reddit as well, but they've got a massive Discord group and obviously the wiki pages. Go and check that out; it's very interesting.
I think Valk's been following it a lot as well.
Yeah, it's them, and then there's like a separate Sombra ARG.
Yeah.
Stupid, like 10,000 people on it at this point. It's ridiculous, but yeah, there's a lot of people on that, and yeah, Game Detectives has also done a great job.
I love the person that was like, because there's the Tracer skin with the timer on, because the track and field that is elite on it. It's like, is that the code? It's like,
is that the code?
No,
it's just elite. It
just says elite. It is internet speak, my friend. Where have you been for the last 15 years? Maybe 20 years.
Credit where credit's due. They've done a really good job so far, and like they're much braver people than me, but. I think they've just gone a bit overboard.
Well, if you think about like all of the stuff, like the marketing, I guess that's what it is. Marketing for new content in the game. It is extremely effective. People are interested in this who are not even interested in Overwatch. They're just like, what the hell is going on? It's so crazy. I mean, I think there was one for Portal. I remember
there was one for
the Portal one
Dark Knight. There was one for Batman Dark Knight, which lasted for a year and a half.
Holy shit!
It was ridiculous. Like it was stuff like. People went to Comic-Con and they got like a clue there. Like there were these Joker cards that were randomly handed out like from various signing sessions. Like they were just tucked under like whatever. And you look at it, it's like it gives you like a time and date and like a place to be. It was right outside the convention center, and like people looked up and there's like a plane in the sky with like a banner flying by with like another code on it or some shit like that. And there was
phones and stuff as well.
Yeah, there were phones hidden inside of cakes, like big like cakes. And then some people got those phones, and those phones like rang throughout like half a year with like random messages, got random texts and so on.
This is my God.
There's like a very good like sort of site that documented all of this, and it was ridiculous. It was like the Sombra ARG like on acid. Like it was stupid. Like how much effort went into that. It lasted for forever. Heath Ledger died, rest in peace, during that whole campaign. It was fucking crazy.
Was that part of the ARG? I mean, that is
like during the ARG. I think he died, and there were like a black sort of like ribbon came up on like the website that was like active then, because there were like all these like Gotham like newspaper websites and like Gotham Police and all that stuff. All of those had like hidden websites a bit here and there with like various logins that you could try and get into. Like, it was ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, this Sombra stuff is really hyping me up, but I mean, we could be here for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's one of those things. I'd get a call and be like, sort of, with a riddle, and I'd just be like, "Nah, mate," just hang up. And that'd be it. Like,
Trying to tell me what, mate?
Yeah, I'd
You
just be
what?
like, see how far the rabbit hole. Nah, I'm alright.
PPI, mate. Fuck off. That's all I ever get called about.
Don't say PPI.
I'm off McDonald's in 20 minutes. I can wait.
I worked with PPI.
Oh God, we've got to explain what this is. Nobody, only UK people probably understand what this is. PPI. Go on then, Josh. Explain PPI to us.
PPI is the thing that banks sold to people that they didn't necessarily need nor want, and so there was a massive scandal when people found out that they all sold this thing they don't necessarily need or want, and banks basically gave a shitload of money back to everyone. Because banks are giving money back, everyone was calling everyone, and their mother was making claims to get money back. Companies set up to facilitate these claims. Most of them were bullshit. I had to deal with a lot of that bullshit. That was my job before doing YouTube.
PPI.
Right.
Thank God for YouTube.
Right.
That's PPI in like a blitzing speed. That's all you need to know.
I think I've genuinely heard PPI, but I'm being stubborn. And,
Just
like,
fuck it. Don't even bother.
I'm
We can
refusing
talk
out
if
of
you want to
merit.
talk about PPI, we can talk about PPI afterwards.
Yes,
I don't
Yes,
want
the interesting world of
Remember,
payment
we went
protection
to
insurance. No, thank
We went to
you.
Jesse Cox's convention, and I was talking to somebody drunkenly for about 45 minutes about PPI.
Fucking hell.
Wow, what a fucking
It happens.
conversation.
I'm
Welcome to
just
UK
great at talking
conversations.
to random people about random shit when I'm drunk. I'm the best.
Yeah. Oh god. No. But yeah, ARG is ridiculous, and I don't know how far they'll take it. Honestly, I don't know when they plan to announce stuff. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, if it's like at BlizzCon, then I mean, it's a while left, and maybe we'll get more hints and stuff."
Maybe it's
Well-
November
well-
23rd, because 23 is such an important number.
Ooh, yeah,
You think logically about it. Where would Blizzard
Oh, God, it just
announce
reminds me of the
major
beta when
content for a
everybody was
game?
Like the 10th, fall 10th. Oh,
When-
it's reminding me of that.
Shut up, Ryan. Where would
Oh, yeah, cool,
Blizzard
10.
announce major content for a game when a certain event where they announce major content has just finished?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Insomnia.
E3.
Insomnia.
Insomnia. Hey, you know what? I went to like really old Insomnia. Oh my god, like 2011, I think. And when it was just a land, there was like they hyped it up so big. They were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get like UK YouTubers in and all this," and it's like, "Yeah, press pass, yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah," and all this was going on, yeah, and I got there and there was like PC World stall, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was Antec,
Yeah.
and that was it. I'm like, "What?" So what? Why did you what? Anyway, now it's much different. Now it's massive. So there you go.
Yeah.
Things do change. Right, let's talk about the Atlantic Showdown, because this was a massive event, which I was there, and so was Whisker and Ryan, and I got to see a couple of games. I got to see Rogue beat Envy, which is amazing, and I got to see the final as well. I didn't see the other games, though, because Blizz, I had to be a slave to Blizz.
It was.
I want to give a massive shout out to
amazing.
Mitch.
Yes.
Mitch
Oh my
Uwadilista. He
God.
was such a good caster for that
Yeah.
event.
When he
was
says
so
nutter,
good
I
as
love
a
it.
football
I
player.
love it, man.
And he managed to get like one of the best lines out, like when Rogue beat Envy, and he shouted out, "The king is dead, long live the king!" And I was just like, "Fucking nailed it, Mitch!"
Yeah.
Like, that's the hype moment. I managed to
Yeah.
get that line in my fucking video synopsis of Gamescom, and it's just such a good line. But he was so good at that event for
The
play-by-play.
casters
casting.
overall did a great job. I mean, there are some people that we could go on about that didn't necessarily do a great job, but I think
Mitch-
overall, the people that were there
Mitch
that have
stood
been
out.
involved in the scene for a while, Zoe's fucking great at hosting. Jesus Christ, she's just like, just
What was funny
perfect.
was you guys couldn't see Twitch chat, but every single time she popped up, like people going, "Cheers,
Tracer,
love."
yeah.
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 Did you
Yeah.
have Matt
good.
She had the
Costume
tracer.
design?
Yeah,
She had the
she,
Tracer outfit.
she did have it on for one of the, because Blizzard were doing recap videos every day
Yeah.
from BlizzCon, and then she was dressed as Tracer for a while for one of those. Well, I've got my phone out, very unprofessionally, just looking at my phone like, this is a boring topic, but I'm not doing that. It's because I filmed the bit that you're talking about with Mitch.
Yeah.
somewhere.
It's such a cool moment.
I totally.
We also
filmed
made
it.
the little videos before the maps, and they were fucking awesome.
Is it
we were
Unco?
up
I
until,
can't
I was up until 3
Unco?
o'clock.
There's someone that puts that takes their headset off. It's about to take
Yeah,
his headset off.
and then he's got his headset off, and then he has to get back. No.
F's in chat.
Yeah, the king is dead. Yeah, it was so awesome.
Yeah, like put your damn headset back on, son.
Yeah, put your damn headset back on. You got a game to play. He just has to rush and put it back on.
It was so awesome. Like, I mean, I've never seen any esports events live, and that was like, even though it was intimate because it wasn't big, it made me laugh. The pictures they were putting out on Twitter and whatnot of the ESL arena were making it look like it was this massive arena. It was like,
the camera would pan around, and it was like a little tent. Like,
yeah. Again, because of German bloody law, you have to have a massive curtain around the thing.
They had like curtains, and it was one of those things that was like, it's kind of going, it's like an adult shop, and watching Reunited beat Complexity like they did. I'm not surprised, because that was just like brutal pornography. Because it was just kids.
Speaking of Reunited, I'm going to give a shout out to Cruz, and he came and told me on this on Discord afterwards. But Cruz, last time we did a podcast, I was saying, "Oh, NVIDIA are going to walk in and win it. Like NVIDIA are the clear favorites." And Cruz said in our chat, yeah, Cruz said in our chat, "NVIDIA aren't really that untouchable, and we aren't really that necessarily that good." And I went to him and I went, "Yeah, sure, NVIDIA aren't that good. I'm, sure, whatever." And then Rogue go and beat him, and he comes to me and he says, "See, they're not that good." And the reason that he explained himself after, because Cruz is a good bloke and he explains himself well. And he said that NVIDIA are really good in North America, but North America doesn't have the level of competition that it has in Europe, where the European teams, they're all so close to each other and they can all take games off each other so much that it just keeps them improving constantly. I think NVIDIA have been sat at the top for so long now. I think NVIDIA is still king of payload. Like, if you look at the match, Rogue took and beat Envy on Hanamura and Temple of Anubis and Lijiang Tower. They lost on the payload map. I would be willing to say that Envy probably is still king of payload.
Yes.
But I think Europe definitely went and practiced to control point a lot more. And definitely showed in the tournament.
I gotta say, I was really impressed by that. Like but also like how Reunited practiced Ilios, and they were really good at it. They won it, I think, every time, and very consistently as well. A lot of 3-0s.
I did a count on Ilios. They won. They only dropped one like little mini map on
like area.
It went like 8-1 total.
Yeah, ridiculous. And I was really impressed by that overall. And like you said, Josh, like the NA teams have kind of been like sort of hyping each other up almost, like, and the casters as well. They've been seeing a lot of the NA teams play together, and after a while you go, oh shit, these NA teams are really, really good. But since NA and EU don't play as much together, just because NVs are over in NA, it might seem like, oh, NVs are just ridiculously good. But as
maybe
we saw,
part
EU
of the decision.
like EU did really good in this tournament, and it was.
This is why LANs are also so good.
And it's a totally different environment. Yeah, you got to. This is a completely different environment. Like you could see, especially in the final when I was watching. You would look at Reunited and you would look at Rogue, and you could see the different ways in which they operate. Reunited looks more clinical. Rogue were just getting carried away with themselves quite a bit. But I mean, there's different styles, and that's fine. But it is some teams, guys, obviously. Hello.
A moment in crime.com has updated.
Really?
Yeah, it's gone to version 1.95.
And it's got 5.4410%. So we're 0.4410.
It's okay. I speak bullshit. I've got this.
Yeah. So,
okay, so the version's updated and the numbers updated. What does that mean to us? Fucking nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, but regardless, yes, the ESL Atlantic Showdown, fantastic show.
Overall. Hang on. So seeing at LAN, playing at LAN, and playing when you, I mean, because some of these guys have not even seen themselves face to face on the same teams as well before, which blew my mind. But then you think about it, like where they live, it's not really like, oh yeah, let's just go meet and let's get together and start playing games. So that would have been like a step for those guys to get to know each other better. I mean, like, you think of it. If I'm calling Josh a wanker over Discord because he's crap at Overwatch, that's fine. I'm not looking into his eyes, into his soul. But when he's sitting next to me and I'm like, fuck you, Josh, and he looks back at me and I see he's about to kill me, and I'm like, oh, God. It's a totally different environment. So things like that could change. And like subtle little differences like that could totally ruin a team's rhythm. I mean, it is a testament to the teams that got into the final.
Well.
Oh, shit, yeah. I mean, and the crowd can fuel you on, man. When they get behind you. Because you could tell, the crowd was sort of against Envy. They wanted to see them lose, not against.
Oh yeah.
But it was like everyone's cheering for Rogue. They want to see them get beat. You know, it's like, come on. How many? It was like 52 games or something. They won on the trot. 52, 57.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Ridiculous.
But it might be one of the reasons as to why Reunited did so well as well, because they've been at Gamescom so many times playing Battlefield. And
most of Reunited have land experience. That was one of the
Morty
big things
just
going
looked like he didn't give a fuck. Honestly, he was just sort of there. Like,
Morty was just so like relaxed, just like.
you would like to be
Cruz
giving him
and
like
Kib.
DMing.
Cruz and Kib had never been to our land before. Kib played fantastically. Cruz played fantastically.
Kib, why didn't you respond to the goddamn email for the World Cup? I know everybody keeps saying this. You Kib, and then you don't play like that, Kib.
He is the quietest guy as well. Like I bumped into him, Numlocked, Cruz, and Frederick, who's like the Reunited guy, at the airport on the way back, and he just sat and played on his phone. And we were just talking about streamers like Seagull and stuff, and I was just like, dude, start streaming. Like, do it. Just do it.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I've seen quite a bit of that with the esports guys. Just go out and start streaming. If you think you can do it, just start doing it. But do be aware, you do actually need to talk. You can't just sit there and play the game. That's people won't watch the stream.
You got to be a little bit entertained.
Yeah, a little.
But bearing in mind that they have 8 hours of scrim a day as well. So
I know. It's difficult.
I think Seagull sort of suffered that he's a really good streamer and stuff, but like he's kind of doing 2 things, and he's probably decided which he wants to do more.
Seagull's an Overwatch celebrity. He's not. That's where he's going.
Yeah, 100%. But he's kind of like he's going to have to make that decision at one point whether he focuses on esports more than streaming or streaming more than esports. And I think this sort of limbo isn't helping him or his team. I don't want to talk about it too much, but that's just sort of. I feel that he's in a really good situation in both areas, but also, you know, he's basically got 2 girlfriends and he has to choose which one he wants to marry.
Just marry them both. So the casters, like, or the entire, let's say, hosting team for the Atlantic Showdown, I thought they did okay. I thought they did pretty okay. I mean, you've got to imagine, like, Overwatch is brand new, right? A lot of these guys, some of them have got experience, I guess, but this is uncharted territory. When I see people criticizing them, especially in public, and it's just like, what? Why? You know, could you have done better? Really? Could you have done better? You know what I mean? It's like there is a lot of pressure in that environment. And Overwatch, we said this loads and loads of times on this podcast. There's so much going on. It's so difficult to convey what's going on, and you have to. The casting is not designed for a fucking top 1% esports player or somebody who's top 500. It is designed to bring everybody in. It needs to have detail, it needs to have color, and there needs to be a balance of that, and it needs to be, you know, it has to attract an audience. It can't be super detailed because that would be boring to the average Joe. He doesn't want that. He wants to know, like, who the hell is being killed and what's going on. He doesn't want loads of fine details. And honestly, I thought it was pretty good. I really fucking enjoyed it when I sat there. I wasn't sitting there like, oh shit, this is cringeworthy. The casters are crap. I was like, this is great. It was great.
Yeah, it's one of those feelings that, like, you could probably compare it to go to a football match, right? That it's sort of that whole, when you got it on the TV, it's kind of like you like watching Reunited and you see them lose and it's kind of like, that sucks. But we were like cheering on for Reunited and you have that pit in your stomach where it's just like, holy shit, and it's just like really good plays and like everybody's clapping around you because people behind you want Rogue to win and you're just like, fuck you, come on, Reunited.
Fuck you.
Everyone's there with the fucking ESL clappers just making noise.
Theatrical experience. A lot of people give football a lot of shit for it, and it's kind of go to a game and like experience it because it's like a theatre almost, and I think esports at lands as well is as well.
Yeah, it's mob mentality. I mean, it's like a distilled version of a football crowd, because a football crowd, and I've been in quite a few, they can get quite rowdy, and it's very interesting to see it. Like, it's great.
Esports chants.
Yeah.
I want esports chants that are better than like GSM.
But none of the things that football wants include some things I cannot repeat.
Some very bad chants, yeah. But like some decent chants would be lovely. That's a British thing.
I'll give a little example of one, although I can't finish this because then it goes a bit bad. So there was a player who played for a team called Manchester United. You've probably heard of this team. And he came from South Korea, and his name was Park.
Oh,
and this chant would start off,
I know what this is in.
Park, wherever you may be. You eat dogs in your own country. It could be worse. You could be eating rats in your council house. Now, I've removed the word there. But you can probably imagine what the word is if you think of Man United fans and teams they don't like, and what you would call people from that region of the country, which has a port, and the Beatles come from there as well. I'm giving a lot of information about this, but there you go. So yeah, it would be cool to see that, but it still felt really good. Annoyingly, I got put on the front row in the middle of the thing, which was great for to see the players, but I had to like go like this.
Oh, it's like the cinema problem where your neck's
Yeah, and I'm
open.
like,
my neck
shit,
was
man,
aching.
my
My
neck.
shoulder, because there were no armrests as well, and I've had really bad shoulder problems. That my
Yeah,
shoulders
this
like.
seat's just like you put your back to the back rest of like the seat, and you just like this. Oh shit!
Yeah, the chairs were terrible. They were like spongy.
Yeah.
You were sat near the guy that every time the camera went up, he'd stand and he'd just dab constantly, and it's just like, security, can you not please?
Yeah. No.
People,
Okay,
people kept
also-
tweeting me pictures of my face from the bloody thing.
Yeah, because you were sat there.
'Cause I'm
like,
like,
Yeah, I saw some of that. A moment in crime.
Yeah, Sombra's updated as well, and apparently
It
the source
seems-
code has.
Yeah, it seems that things are heating up. I'll have to go unnoticed until this is finished. That's what she
so it's
said.
basically shit.
Yeah,
We
and
need
the
to take
counter
a
has-
step
yeah,
back.
and the counter's gone up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Are you watching this?
tiny,
Sombra,
tiny.
Sombra, are you there?
Hi, Sombra. We're big
Hi.
fans. Can we
Big
get a
fan.
picture?
Yeah, picture would be great, actually. Yeah.
Some hints of your
Sliding,
abilities?
sliding into the DMs, be like, "Hey, baby, go." No, don't do that.
Hey there.
Because I'm just saying that to Sty anyway, because it was on his Twitter.
Hey,
Yeah.
fine Latina girl. We have no idea what she looks like or
Yeah.
what she even is.
some
Just
assumptions
imagine.
are being made.
It's just like another roadhog, just another big burly guy. It's like, oh,
It could be a fucking omnic. We don't know. It could identify as female.
let's keep
Or is it an
going.
attack helicopter?
Or is it an attack helicopter? Or is mayonnaise? Okay, we know Sombra's female at the very least.
Yeah.
What do you know about attack helicopters, man? They can
We
be
know, yeah.
female, I'm sure. Somehow.
There's a delicate lady with high power cannons. It's my kind of woman. Nothing like a
Welcome to OverChat, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got Last Bastion like recorded on his computer just in a special folder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ESL Atlantic was great. Like, I'm gonna just move like us on to a different esports topic because Overwatch Open.
It's on
Yeah,
now,
it's
actually. Well,
It's literally on right now.
Yeah.
So we go
Don't
watch
go
it
watch
after
it.
this is done. Go watch it after we're done.
Go
I'll
watch
host
it,
them.
don't watch it
I'll
now.
host
Yeah,
them.
we can
Yeah.
well host them after, but the final, like, details have come out about that, and it really pissed me off when the details came out about the final, because they're separating North America and EU in the final. So the final match is going to be North America versus EU guaranteed. EU is going to play against EU. North America is going to
So
play
it's
North
gonna be
America.
Envious versus EU.
Yeah, so it's going to be Envy, which is an EU team, against an EU team, and it's so annoying because you could take them to a LAN. Why not have the teams play against each other? It was so cool at ESL. This was one of the best things. You get to the NA versus EU,
Yeah,
equal foot.
Fnatic versus Reunited was a great
Please
match
do.
as well because of the good matches and the
Yeah.
stories and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think they gave Reinforced a lot of flack.
They gave I can actually explain some of that from
Hmm.
like the behind the scenes because some of the analysts.
Well,
were
can I
getting-
be dumb?
yeah,
Let me
go
be
on,
dumb
yes.
first, Josh, because if you got
Yeah, let
inside
him say
information,
that.
because I'm sitting there and I'm like, the like as I said earlier on about Hook, they just like jumping on the like attacking him for being like way too aggressive, and it seemed that that's all they were really adding to the conversation about them. It would just be like, oh yeah, they're playing well. I don't know what Reinforce is doing. He's going too deep. You know, he shouldn't be doing that. He's way too aggressive. It's doing this and that, and I'm sitting there thinking, hang on. Surely he's like opening opportunities for the team to actually do things. Because Reinhardt just stands there with his barrier, yeah, that's fine. But if Reinhardt's proactive and does things, lands that charge, he gets into that position, he drops that Earth Shatter, it's not going to work all the time. But it's so glaringly obvious when Earth Shatter is fucked up.
Yeah.
But they jump straight on it, and I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this seems a bit. It seemed a bit too focused on him.
Well, I can actually address that as well. Like Reinforce is a player who's always had this kind of very aggressive play style. He takes risks, and a lot of times they don't pay off. He also, like, when things get really heated, he can make bad decisions. I don't think it's necessarily unfair to call Reinforce a weak link, but you've got to highlight that. You've got to pad that out with extra detail, and you've got to say that he's a weak link in the sense that if I was coaching someone and saying you're going to play against Rogue, try and bait Reinforce into making a bad decision. Try and look for that mistake.
Try and
then
get
capitalize
under
it.
his skin because he's
Yeah.
very
That's-
like he's a very animated person as well. He's the one that jumps up and he's like, "Fucking get in."
That's how
Stuff
you
like that.
phrase that because it doesn't sound too negative on Reinforce. You highlight the issue and you have this narrative you build where the teams are looking for this error, they're fishing for this error. And I think Winghaven especially was getting into Reinforce's head a bit because Winghaven used to play super aggressively. He's calmed down a lot in the later months. He's become a lot more reasonable.
I think
And
he
there were
played
times
very
when-
well, though. He did play
Yeah.
very well, he did. Huh?
And Reinforce like dropped an Earth Shatter right into Winghaven's barrier. And I think
Yeah.
that was a time when it looked like, Winghaven was going to charge him. Like Reinforce was in a position where he could be charged. He was like between the payload and the wall. No way he could dodge it. Winghaven, 9 times out of 10, 2 months ago, would have charged. Doesn't this time. Earth Shatter goes off. Reinhardt's a mind game anyway, and it looks really bad. But what was happening in the background as well, there's a Discord channel out there, a lot of pros talking on it, and they were telling the casters, we need more analysis on the desk. We need more players being mentioned. And I think especially like because especially was new on the desk and new commentating events, this was kind of picked up on. And in the back of his head, he's thinking, I've got to cast this game. Casting Overwatch is a very intensive thing in the first place. It's very difficult to do well. And he was thinking, I've got to highlight players. I've got to highlight players. But they've got this narrative going that reinforces the weak link. And so he was just highlighting that again and again because he was thinking, I've got to talk about players. I'll talk about reinforce.
There was a lot of just sort of using the ultimates and stacking the ultimates, and he was very much like, he did a really good job. I can't stress this enough. I'm not like berating him on the sake of berating him, because then they're doing exactly what we're doing exactly to him, what he did to reinforce, right?
Yeah.
It was more like, oh, they need to sort of use their ultimates a bit more, and then something else happened. Yeah, it's kind of like he knows a lot about the game, and it's kind of like he was going for really obvious stuff that people could obviously see. Now, a lot of people could have gone reinforced fucked up there, whereas you can sort of flip it and go, I saw more of what reinforced did than Winghaven. Winghaven didn't really do much at all. He was very reserved, had the shield up and just moved forward a lot. So for that fact in itself,
it's
like,
the explanation
yes,
of what they're thinking. Jason does this a lot. He'll explain what they're thinking, or try to explain why they've done that. And that's more interesting to listen to than that. Oh, he's, like you said, right? He's just fucked up. Like,
he
oh
was,
dear.
He was a liability, yes. If Rogue lost, that's the glaringly thing that people would look at. But they didn't. They won, and they won because of some of Reinforce's plays.
And you've got to highlight when it works as well. King's Row, right at the start of King's Row, Reinforce charges in, catches Mort, kills him with a charge.
Instantly.
I put that more on Valitar making a mistake. Like, I think McCree was right next to the Reinhardt charge. I think he could have landed a flashbang. Maybe the Zarya issue was in the way. I need to go back and look over that footage. But I think he was in a position where he could have maybe stopped that last minute. Maybe he missed the flashbang. Maybe he didn't. Maybe the Zarya barrier was there stopping it. But like that was an instant where you should say, oh, there's Reinforce's aggressive playstyle. And Rogue have always had an aggressive playstyle. They've always got in your face. That's how Tavik plays. That's how Reinforce plays. That's how the team plays. And so you've got to like bring it up in context of the playstyle. And so it did start sounding like they were just giving them shit, basically.
Yeah.
It's still early days. And like doing analysis on Overwatch at a live event where you don't have replay footage available, you don't have like a screen that you can point at and say, this is happening in the team fights, and you can point it out and you can show everyone. And you're casting to a new crowd of players who might not even know about Overwatch esports. You're not going to get depth. And you're not going to get depth like
that's
try
the
and
thing,
compare it to
though,
Dota 2. And like Dota 2 has all the setup, but Dota 2 has a legacy of years and years of esports, of people who can explain this very well. We're not there yet. We don't have the audience there yet to understand that kind of thing either.
No.
Blizzard, if you're watching, you have looked after this guy. I think that's where Josh is. Like, this is his calling. Get him on that desk, because it's good to have somebody that, you know, anybody could go, Reinforce fucked up there. He fucked up his ult. But it's more the reading between the lines, people seeing things you don't necessarily see without it coming across as really like patronizing. There's your guy.
And it's
Get
also it's the repetition as well of just like repeat, like we just said, it's the repeating of what is actually going on the screen. It is, I mean, I've always gone about football. I watch a load of football games, and I fucking hate it when there's a guy called Martin Keown, who played for Arsenal, and he is
he's a
cabbage, right. But he just says like the most obvious things, and I don't know why he's got a job. Like if somebody takes a free kick, it goes over the bar. He'll say, "You had a bit too much elevation on that free kick." Yeah. Well, no fucking shit, it's gone over the bar. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. And that type of thing is poor casting
as well.
Oh, fuck that guy. Like, Jesus Christ.
But he'd like watch England, and then they'll sky a free kick, and he'd be like, oh, it's just like you're meant to be a fucking unbiased commentator. Jesus, it's like, it's such a difficult job to do.
Yeah.
Like very much us on YouTube. You're very open to criticism a lot of the time. But I think all of us are quite relaxed in what we do, that we don't really necessarily give too much of a shit.
Well, it was kind of
they're open to a lot of criticism unfairly, but at the same time, you can't like do shit like that because you're opening yourself up to that.
It's kind of like an experience thing. Like the thing with, I'll give a very specific example of this. When I spoke earlier about the Blizzard camera crews just going, right, let's film you. Well, there was YouTubers there, and there were also streamers, and the streamers found it quite difficult to just do an intro. Now we do YouTube, so if you come up to me, I'm like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa from Unit Lost, and I do this and that."
Welcome.
Straight away. Yeah, you can just do it straight away. But the streamers were like, "What?" They don't do an intro.
Is this on?
Like,
that's what they say. Is this on?
Yeah,
Are we streaming?
You know, so it's but
hello.
It's very early days with the esports scene. I'm no doubt we'll see Josh on analyst desk in the future. We should do.
Better fucking be. I want to be on there next to him. I'm just going to disagree with him.
I want to be pulling face at him. Yeah.
Yeah, just sitting
Or
on the
shout,
other side.
heckling, get that wanker off the stage!
Just throwing these fucking little,
3 booths over.
throwing these little Winston toys wherever it is.
Come on, the Dark Souls cosplay, it'd be fucking amazing.
Just on like fucking fish sticks in his suit and everything, and he's just like in his black robe with like eyeliner on, and just like, yes, I believe the Reunited played really well.
I'd be crying. I'd be
Praise
crying.
the sun.
Yeah, he's just like. Oh man, but yeah, the ESL thing, the showdown was great. I really enjoyed it.
I hope it got a lot of people into esports.
Well,
Yeah, really, the viewership was like really good.
yeah,
on
didn't
Twitch,
it get like
actually,
almost
for me.
80k or something?
Yeah,
It
like
was
if you
pretty
hit
good,
like
solid.
76,
Its peak, it hit
6,000.
80.
Yeah, I saw like 70, 80k quite often. It was pretty fucking good.
That's fucking
And
good.
like it's a new game, so you know people are going to like trolls take it and go and compare it to League of Legends and CS:GO. Don't bother doing. Like,
Yeah.
those games are established, they've established audience. This is the first major LAN. 70k, 80k is a good number. Like that's a pretty good number.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Wasn't there another tournament, an Asian tournament announced with quite a big prize
was
pool
a-
recently?
Chinese tournament announced literally
200
today. I think 250
250
grand. Takes place in China and it's specific. It's trans-Pacific tournament, so Asian regions and
NA.
North America taking part. Europe are not. I've had people like tweet at me and say that that's unfair, but you've got to think about it as well. Like we got this $100,000 tournament, a $300,000 tournament. Asia's not included in that. So to say that it's unfair one way and not unfair the other, like that's just how they're doing it. North America and China.
Are you sure they're not playing League of Titans in China?
I'm pretty positive.
Yes,
I don't know, man. They
Big
seem
new
pretty
game.
much identical.
they're very innovative. Yeah.
I think
Gee,
Reap has like 500 health in League of Titans
Fucking
and
hell.
armor as well. And
Jesus Christ.
Widowmaker's got bigger boobs as well. I noticed. that detail.
Naturally.
Right, League of Titans Central.
League of
that's
Titans
We're
it
done.
is.
Do it.
Yeah,
It's like a
League of-
sister
League of
channel.
Titans Central, yeah.
League of Titans Central.
Jesus.
Great.
Right. Any other topics that you really need to talk about?
I'm really hungry.
The thing
I'm
has
hungry.
gone up with like tiny more percentage, and people are freaking out.
Yeah.
Like
it
moment-
will.
Okay.
I like the fact that it's now not moving in percentages, but like fractions of percentage, and people are still going like, "Oh my god, it's soon!" It's like it's going slower than it
Yeah.
did before, and
I
that
had
was
a
really
Discord
fucking
open.
slow as well.
Yeah, I had a Discord open. I tabbed out. I tabbed back in like a few seconds later. It's like 500 new messages. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on?
There's so many
Exchange,
people in the
people can have
voice
fun
chat
with it.
room.
But people are freaking out over.
They can't be
What
talking in the
is-
voice chat room. It'd be a disaster. It'd be-
It's
No,
push
there's
to
like-
talk.
Oh.
There's,
I went in just to listen, and there was somebody being like, "Overwatch is a really racist game, isn't it?" And everybody was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!"
This is
It's just like,
ridiculous,
well, they're
yeah.
all stereotypes, and it's like, well, yeah. And I was like, no, I came
Yeah.
in here for knowledge.
There's like,
Like
well
fucking
over.
Sombra's listening to this and being like, what?
There's like
What?
200 people in this voice chat.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm
might
kind
just sit
of
in
glad.
that
I want actual stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There will be actual stuff. I am
Yeah.
sure.
I like the
You-
games, but I'm not taking part in them, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll sit back and watch the ARG, but I'm not going to go nuts because a single number has changed.
We'll go nuts later when there's more.
And Stai's still pulling funny fucking faces.
This is one of those things.
It's
that-
like when you're asking me about Gamescom as well. What's happening? It's just stupid.
Yeah, but you're like, there's so much stuff there. It's like there's a map. There was a map.
There was a map, Stai. You promised us tons of stuff. You told us to watch your stream. I was waiting for like an interruption, like a glitch to happen, and then there'd be a skull, and there'd be some Latina woman talking.
He's
And it was just
obsessed
like,
with
holy
Latina
shit.
women.
But she's a Latina woman. She's from
You
Mexico.
should have done that. You should have just swapped over scene to like some weird fucking glitch.
Weird fucking skull glitch.
Like speaking like really terrible Spanish off of like Google Translate.
Hold on.
Hola.
Just like Microsoft Sam. It's like not even a woman.
Hola. Yeah. Ah, fuck, that'd be great. Yeah.
Oh
Ah.
my god.
Me have I don't know Spanish. We don't learn Spanish here in Europe, guys.
It's
Unless you
just
live
like
in
the
Spain.
start of Blood Sugar by Pendulum. Tonight, we bring you.
Tonight. The sonic recreation of the end of the world. Fucking love Blood Sugar. Anyway, yeah, I think we're about
Okay.
done here, Star.
All right then. So, what are you going to do this week then, guys? Plug yourself, promote, go crazed.
I've got an Eichenwalde and Last Bastion lore video going up tonight, so go watch that if you're interested in that kind of thing, because the lore all ties together and it's pretty damn cool. I'll have an Eichenwalde map breakdown a little bit later, but I want to play on it more first. Talk about some of the new changes maybe as well. That's coming up for me next week. I am One Amongst Many. You can go find me youtube.com/oneamongstmany. I'm over there.
Damn, that was a good run through. Holy shit! I'm
Well, he
like,
never
yeah.
said his Twitter account, so I mean, come
Oh,
on.
yeah, at @1_amongst_many.
Yeah.
Easiest Twitter account in the world. The thing is,
Yep.
Sty is actually dead good for me because he puts
At
my name
one
first
against many, everyone.
at One Amongst Many, and so
One
it
against
always
many.
tags me.
We get all the likes, but not the followers. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. We're Overwatch Central. I guess Ryan's like there or there. I don't even know. But yeah, one of them. He's there. Yeah, that guy. We're Overwatch Central. We do lots of Overwatch videos. Probably way too many at this point. Today we had a pretty interesting discussion video that went out. We got a couple more sort of, I don't know, a bit different. We're sort of experimenting a little bit as we have this sort of, I guess, window between the season 2 starting and all this other crap. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm getting distracted by various plushies on various screens right now. But yes, go to youtube.com/Overwatch Central or twitter.com/OW Central. And that's it. And then you can go check out Ganymede Central.
Ganymede Central.
Or there. It's just a bunch of tweeting of Ganymede. Ganymede should have a Twitter account. That'd be good.
Well, I'll leave on this bombshell. I was speaking to the guys from Fat Boss TV, the Warcraft guys, and then I resubbed to WoW, but I don't know why. I haven't even played it. I just resubbed. I resubbed to it.
I didn't even play fucking WoW, and I watched Fat Boss's guys.
Yeah, they're good. They are. Yeah. They were nice to talk to them, lads.
Join Kindred on Device Brotherhood.
Oh, yeah,
I don't even know how it works. I don't even know how, there's all cross-server shit now. You don't have to be on one server, do you?
Yeah, I think it's all the RP PvP servers are all connected, so you can join one of them.
Yeah, the Device Brothers RP PvP, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my god.
I used to play on Earthen Ring.
And he's played Deus Ex as well. I've installed that. I haven't even fucking played it. Oh my god, I'm going to play that now. Right,
anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, this has been OverChat. This has been episode 8. It's been beautiful. We've discussed a ton of topics. Go and follow all these guys. The links are in the video description below, and we're off to go and probably get something to eat, and I'm going to play Deus Ex.
I'm so hungry. I need to watch.